Wait a minute.
Thank you.
But they do have
Yeah.
the worst run differential in baseball.
Yeah. Woo! Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Woo! Yeah. America. America.
I almost did the bad thing.
You almost did the bad thing? Well,
You know, when you said
as long as you
America,
didn't.
all I can think about is
Bleep, yeah.
yeah,
That's right.
coming to save.
Yes.
Yeah.
The day is
The day,
way
yeah,
that
I think,
coming to save the day, yeah. Coming to save the day. We'll see if Flo Balogun comes to save the day. I don't know that they would need him to save the day. We'll get into all of those things, but Joel Penfield at noon, Mick Schaefer 1 o'clock. How was your weekend, Sterling?
Electric.
You kept
Fun.
all your digits.
All my
hopefully,
digits
thankfully.
are here. First time I've actually done a check on them.
Yep. Okay,
so,
good. That's
yeah,
good.
Yeah, there's 9.
Yep.
Um,
Nice.
yeah, I had a great week and golfed. Ended up at a pool
surprise. Oh, golfing and pool for Sterling over the weekend. Real shocker there.
party. Shot
Who
up
could have
some-
seen that one
some
coming?
Fireworks.
Good for you.
Drank some ICBs, ice cold beers.
Yep. No, we love
Had won my bet of we bet on kids and well, you're going to do that. You're in a cul-de-sac.
bet on kids.
Well, yeah. So you're in a cul-de-sac. We didn't know the people, but there's a whole bunch of folk out
You just
there.
bet on kids that you didn't know.
Of course, I don't care.
Okay.
Not
good.
my kids.
Not my chair, not my problem.
Yeah. And so we had a bet at 8:30. Will a kid get burnt by a firework before or after?
Okay.
I went under. I thought for sure by like 7:53.
Right.
We made the bet at 7:51.
What constitutes a burnt? Just like an ow.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, that
that's it?
counts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's,
Yeah, I was like, this is silly, guys. This is going to hit. And so immediately some kid sees a sparkler, and like every red-blooded American at that age, they want to grab the sparks. You know what I'm saying? You're having fun with it, and you're like, ooh, sparks. So like a kid just grabbed a little bit.
Michael, you ever reached out for sparks from a sparkler?
Never did it.
Neither have I.
Well, I did at that age.
This is a foreign concept to me,
Well, I know.
sort of like refills in America. It's foreign concept. I never once thought, ooh, there's something that's sparking. Let me grab it.
Well, I did at that age, and so I know that kid's going to be a legend.
Try to eat it too.
No, I don't want to eat it.
Just the paint chips.
Just
That's
the
all
paint
he
chips,
ate.
yes. And
Oh,
so
man.
that bet hit, and it's fun watching kids be dumb at that age. It's just,
On Cowshy, it was betting at 72%.
yeah,
That was gonna
89.
happen.
It was, so yeah, overall a great fourth.
Yeah.
What about you?
It was good, man. It was good. Cul-de-sac there hanging out. We had so many parachutes on parachutes on parachutes that, some of the other families that came over from around the neighborhood and brought their kids and everything. They're like, I didn't realize there were that many parachutes that existed. I mean, it was just constantly. Kids were chasing them around. It was fun. So yeah, it was a good weekend. Everybody kept their digits and everything. Kids had a lot of fun, and everybody was chasing after the parachutes. One of them I thought was I did get a chuckle out of it. Felt bad for him. There's a fire hydrant, and they were chasing the parachutes, looking in the air, and pow, right into the fire hydrant. He's a soccer player, so he hit his.
So he flopped?
No, it hit high on his thigh, and I said, "Hey, man, that's just like a knee to the thigh. It's just like you're going for the ball, knee to the thigh. You're all good, man." He did lay on the ground for a while.
Yeah.
He did hit and then go right to the ground and lay down. I brought a spray out there, but it was just off.
It's just,
So I'm like, well, at
It
least
was
you won't get bit by a mosquito while you're down here on the ground. So I got that going for you.
how many kids did you toss out of the way to catch one? Like, if you're not at least one time just tossing.
So one time I did that.
Yeah.
Not toss the kids out of the way. No, just
Get out of here, Everett.
I've got the height advantage on him. Well, Everett had the height advantage on everybody, so he just kept, reaching in the air and
So you have to teach a lesson.
Grabbing
and say, hey,
rebounds.
Here's the lesson.
Well, no, I went over there and grabbed it and sort of guided it towards Jules, and so she caught one. So that's the only time I did that.
No, and so you can't do that. That's just
Why not?
You're teaching her bad habits.
What's that? Winning?
No, let her win her own. You have to have her train like a Rocky montage.
And so she just takes them out and tackles them while
Yes.
everybody's jumping.
Correct.
I think it's difficult for a 7-year-old to beat out 10, 11, and 12-year-old boys
With that
in
attitude.
catching parachutes that are falling from the sky.
Get creative.
From firecrackers, fireworks.
Light off a Roman candle, aim it at the
Just start-
10-year-olds, and then guess what? Look out of the way. Boom. Ingenuity.
That's right.
Just solved your problem.
Jules, just stand there. I promise the Roman candle won't hit you. Oh, bad aim. Sorry. I didn't know that it was going to fade to the right like
It curved. It was a slider.
I did not know that it was going to go that way. I thought it was a changeup, but it went the other way. My apologies. Michael, did you have a good one this weekend?
Yeah, it was a good one. A very patriotic 4th of July. I've been doing a lot of moving, though, so that kind of was my main weekend.
Pretty
thing.
patriotic.
That's very
Yeah,
patriotic
I had
to
a good
move
weekend.
from house to house. That's right. Any fireworks around the move?
Not really, but I was walking around Lawrence, and it was kind of cool to see. This was before, I guess it would have been the 3rd of July,
Mhm.
turning
Friday.
midnight on the 4th of July.
Mhm.
There was thunderstorms in the forecast, so you could see the lightning. I was just out on a walk, and the sky was lighting up with lightning strikes and fireworks, and so I kind of had like my own fireworks show
Well, that's pretty
on
cool.
the 3rd, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely. I realized, and not even realized, this could be a learned. But on July 3rd, those like little neighborhood apps from like Ring or whatever that you can, I don't even subscribe to it or whatever, but every once in a while it'll show up in my notifications. And I'm like, what the hell? So this one showed up on July 3rd, Friday, around 10 o'clock. You ready for this one? Did anyone else just hear those gunshots? They sounded like an automatic. It's July 3rd at 10 o'clock at night. Like, you really? That's the first thing you thought of? That's
I'm in place.
sounds like somebody that's so lonely that just needed to go and post about, I want like companionship here. So
Yeah.
people talking instead of just actually thinking for your own before immediately going to some app to, does anybody hear those gunshots? You mean, and everybody's response is, you don't think maybe they were fireworks? You don't think maybe that it's July 3rd, 10 o'clock at night, that maybe there were fireworks going off? It sounded like an automatic, really. Is that what well, if you knew what an automatic sounded like, then you wouldn't have been posting that,
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
guessing.
Wow.
Sounded like 30 or 40 black cats going off at once.
How am
It's
I
crazy.
supposed to get these 30 to 40 feral hogs?
That's right. 913-912-4810 is the text line to join us. The All-Star Game players' selections have been revealed. We'll talk a little bit about that and what it may mean for this Royals team this year. ESPN put out their ranking 1 through 32 of the best rosters in football currently. We'll talk about that, what it means, what the experts said about the Chiefs, including Seth Walder, Aaron Schatz, Mike Clay, weighing in on the Chiefs and their roster. We'll talk about those things, 913-912-4810. So let's hear from Andy Davies, former FIFA referee, on ESPN Radio yesterday, weighing in on the news that Flo Balogun will be eligible to play tonight against Belgium with his red card, 1-game suspension turned into a 1-year probationary period for his 1-game suspension. Here is clip number 3, Andy Davies, former FIFA referee on ESPN Radio, weighing in on the decision.
Very, because actually in the competition laws or rules, you cannot appeal a red card. Therefore, FIFA have come out. Let's look at what they've done today. They've in effect they've overturned a red card, which in their own competition rules you're not allowed to do. Once a red card has been issued, you automatically miss the next game. So they've come out and they've overturned the red card with no rationale, no explanation of why they've done this. They've hidden behind a regulation that is in their regulations of discipline, to be fair. However, they've not given any context or any rationale as to why they've come to this conclusion. And the optics don't look great. I don't think people really understand why and how they've got to this outcome, because a red card is a red card in the World Cup. and for some reason they've overturned that and not given a reason or rationale why, which has caused so much debate in the last 24 hours.
So there's been a lot of controversy around the world with this decision. There was a part of me, Sterling, that I was like, wow, I can't believe they actually did that. While last Friday, we were discussing, one, the red card, whether it was, or Thursday, whenever it was. When did the U.S. play? Wednesday?
Wednesday.
They played Wednesday. So Thursday, I was like, was it Friday? No, we're at Firehouse Subs on Thursday and talking about the decision, and most people coming to the conclusion that they did not think it was a red, but there wasn't really an apparatus for you to go down the path of appealing said decision and having it overturned. Even with that being the case, we talked about it, and it was like, if he plays on Monday, there's not a part of me that will be, quote-unquote, shocked or really all that surprised, because we know FIFA can make some decisions and be viewed as corrupt or whatever, and you have so many different people looking at it and going, well, this doesn't seem to be a red card. He wasn't the one challenging. It's like, well, when you make a challenge like that and you hit somebody's leg, the ball was passed to him. The Bosnian player is the one that challenged Balogun and played the ball through him, which put Balogun off balance, and when he lands, it hits the leg of the defender. So, red card, no red card, how extreme it was, how deserving it was, on a scale of 1 to 10, was it a red card that was sort of a 3 or a 4, and probably not, more of a yellow, but there was no process to appeal this. But I remember just having the conversation of like, I would be of two minds. Like, I would be surprised and not surprised at the same time. I'd be surprised because people have talked about that you can't really appeal this. You can look at the VAR and whether they correctly used the VAR in slowing things down. But then even if they did that, do they have something to appeal?
Sure.
So I would be surprised if he played, but I would also be I wouldn't be surprised if he was not able to play, if that makes sense. Like, it was both at the same time because I could understand the reasons behind both of them. I actually think I would have been more surprised if he didn't play because there was so much what seemed to be outcry around it.
I didn't think he was playing. I thought, without a doubt, they would just say, hey, no, this is the rules, all the rules. It's dumb, but it is what it is. No sport's more penalizing for little things than soccer. I mean, let's be real, but I'm shocked he's, as of now, eligible to play. I doubt that it gets overturned again. I know there's the conversation with Belgium, and they're upset, and
they're filing an appeal,
which is just hilarious. I mean, that's the least, and maybe it's because we're Americans and we're strong. You know, we don't care about that. But like, don't you want to beat the other team when they're at full strength? So then there's no asterisk of congrats, man. You beat the United States with their best player because he had a bad red called against him that maybe wasn't even a yellow. Like, what are we doing here, Belgium? Like, I know you have waffles. I know you have great chocolate, but doesn't mean you have to be so sugary and soft. Like, at some point.
Was it Kent Swanson that said Belgium's not a fan of waffling? That was pretty strong.
Pretty good. But the point remains,
strong.
There's no good way around this, but it comes off to me so soft, so Charmin Ultra of, no, we don't want him to play because they're better. And you know why? Teams are scared. They want Belgium to knock off the United States because teams are scared. When was the last? That's my main take of this entire conversation.
Oh, yeah.
The teams that are left are scared because they don't want to play the United States. They're not a traditional powerhouse. It's in the USA. They've played great ball so far. If they lose to the United States, their fan base, their country, will be an uproar.
The irony of people saying that this is home cooking because the U.S. is the host nation, while watching that match and looking at how the referee was officiating that one, which was to the extreme to try to make it look like it is not home cooking. Like, so far the other way. The exact opposite officiating of what we saw last night at the Azteca. That's a referee that was in charge of the match, that wasn't taking any bleep from anybody
Dudes
last
getting
night.
yellows who were not even in the match.
Yeah, dude, I told you to walk away. You didn't. Yellow. I'm going to clean this up. This thing is not going to get out of control. We are not going to have fights here. Understand? I'm yellowing you. I'm going to card you. I'm going to book you. It doesn't matter.
It was Oprah. You get a yellow.
Yes.
You get a yellow.
Whereas in the Bosnia and Herzegovina match, that official was like, hey, guys, let's just cut. Actually, you know what? You're fine. You're fine. Keep flopping. Keep playing physical like that. Keep manhandling Balogun in the box. Keep doing whatever you want to do. I'm just going to ignore it. And he let the thing get out of hand. And then decides to red card that. So to act like this was home cooking while ignore the fact that the U.S. was getting absolutely screwed in that particular game is hilarious. And the irony that's there is not lost on me, but it is lost on others that can't get out of their own way of hating the U.S. And honestly, the point being, if the United States sucked at soccer, if they weren't good, if they weren't viewed as some sort of a threat, people would look at it and go, well, this is ridiculous by FIFA, but it doesn't matter because Belgium is going to wax the floor with them. Belgium is going to destroy them. But when going into the match, people viewed as the U.S. as the better side, to then make a quarter, the quarterfinals, to get past the 16, and actually playing better soccer than we have seen in a long, long time with this group of players and the way Pochettino has them playing and the attacking style and what Balogun means to the team, it's now a big deal because they actually, for the first time, maybe ever, have a real fear of how good the U.S. is getting at soccer, and they can't have that. They can't have that. The U.S. is already better at so many other sports. They're beating Canada in their own sport. We're inventing sports, and you can't beat us in that. This is your sport. This is the world's sport. You can't the one thing you've had over America forever has been soccer, football. You aren't good at it. Oh, look at you, bless your heart, pat on the head. Oh, it's cute that you want to play our sport, but you'll never be on our level. And then to see this team playing this way and what the evolution of the sport in America has taken shape, now it's a big deal, and they're worried about it. You know, I posted this earlier today that the real reason people are up in arms about this is because there's a real fear of the U.S. now in soccer.
Correct.
And I had a couple of people respond and go, no, it's because of Trump. I said, look,
What?
man, Trump is the projection. People were pissed off before we found out the reporting of the timeline or some of
Correct.
those things. They were already mad about it's corrupt. It's because of the U.S. They wouldn't do this with others. It's home soil. Then we found out more and more. So to act like, well, no, it's because of that's the projection. I'll compare this to the Chiefs. That's the projection. People don't want the U.S. to have this happen, so they're going to project and say, well, it's because I'm mad because of Trump. I'm not mad about this whole thing. It's because Trump intervened. Just as the haters of 31 other fan bases to the Chiefs, it's not that they just want to look in the mirror and say, yes, I'm a hater. It's, no, it was the official. That's why I'm rooting against the Chiefs. It's the officials. I'm rooting against, not because I think they're just a better team than my team. It's because the officials are cheating for them, which is a projection so that you don't have to look in the mirror and know that you're a loser. You don't have to look in the mirror and know that your team sucks and you're just a flat-out hating crybaby. I'm going to blame it on the refs. I'm going to say it's the refs are why I'm rooting against the Chiefs. It's the, quote, flopping why I don't like Patrick Mahomes. No, it's because he whips your team's ass. That's why you don't like him. And you're going to say, well, no, it's because of Trump. Why? Because you don't want to look in the mirror and say you're just a freaking crybaby. That's all you are. You're just a crybaby that's worried about facing the U.S. at full strength. The Belgium crybabies about facing the U.S. at full strength. The rest of the world worried about the United States becoming more of a soccer power because they've always been able to lord that over in sports over the world that The U.S., nice little try. Appreciate it. That's cute. And now they're worried that they can't do that anymore. So let's try to find this. Well, now the whole tournament is tainted for the U.S. Sure. Tainted. Okay, that's fine. You can take your taint and get beat by the U.S. against the
I
Belgians.
got a taint for you.
That's right. And then the U.S. can move on and get ready for Friday against Spain or whoever wins or whatever. Is Spain playing Portugal?
Yeah, but
Well, how's Spain playing Portugal? I thought Portugal would lose in the group stage because Ronaldo was suspended for 2 games.
correct.
Wait, hold on. Did Trump get involved in that?
Dude,
I can't remember.
it-
Did Trump get Ronaldo's 2-game suspension turn into a 1-year probationary period?
what it comes down to, and this is the same, I think this is a fair comparison, a little different, but still. Imagine the Olympics, and it was United States, Serbia, and they said Nikola Jokic can't play. As an American, I'd be like, that's kind of lame. I want to see him play. I don't feel good. If you beat Serbia without Jokic, I'm like, oh, well, okay, fine. Who cares? You want to play the best, and you want to beat the best. I don't know. Maybe it dates back to 1776, and it just bald eagles fly through my veins.
Do they really? That seems dangerous.
It's very dangerous. It's a very serious medical condition.
I feel like that's
How do they fit?
yeah.
It's bald eagle flying ascites. It's very, very rare, very difficult, very tough. But I'm here.
So it's an inflammation of bald eagles flying.
Yes, yes.
Amazing.
It's tough ascites, and
Toughitis. Yeah.
I don't know that, but that's how I would feel. Like if in any sport, don't you want to beat the best? Like
For sure.
if you're playing France in basketball and Wembanyama couldn't play, what would you do? That's kind of lame. What did they do in the NBA Finals? Wembanyama probably should have not been able to play some of those games. They said, you know what?
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Well,
I know we have rules, but we also want this to be full strength.
The issue is that he got a red card to begin with. Like, the result of him playing is probably the right result. People are complaining about the process. That's what's amazing about it. Is they're not saying, no, that red card was so deserving, he deserves a 1-game suspension because of that.
Correct.
They're saying, no, the process is corrupt and he shouldn't be allowed to play because he was given a red. Even though he was given a red nefariously. Even though he was given a red because that ref wanted to show the exact opposite of home cooking and wanted to really officiate much closer and harsher the U.S. in that particular match without concern of implications in the next match or the next match. So the end result is what should have been the thing anyway. Balogun should be playing on a yellow. That's fine. If it's a yellow, it's a yellow, whatever. But not the red in an automatic suspension for 1 game. And to act like this is so unprecedented when there is precedent being set by multiple players before this tournament even started. Ronaldo had, people that bring up Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo had, Ronaldo, whoever, Ronaldo had the 3-game suspension with the red card in the qualifier or whatever. Then they had a friendly. So he served a 1-match suspension of the 3 in a friendly. And then FIFA suspended the 2-match that was left for a year probationary period for Ronaldo so that he could participate in the World Cup. Nobody went crazy in November and said, this is absurd and this is corrupt. Ronaldo should not be allowed to play in the first 2 group stage matches for Portugal. This is not okay. This is corrupt. Trump got involved apparently for Portugal. Nobody was arguing about that. You had multiple other players for Argentina, for Ecuador, for Qatar, that all had their suspensions being either turned into a year-long probationary period or just not allowing it to carry over through the World Cup and then will be used in a next match after the World Cup. Well, that's odd that they would do that for those particular countries. And somehow this is so unprecedented. And one of the, I saw one reaction was, well, Ronaldo served his one match mandatory suspension. That's the difference. Well, I can argue then the difference is Balogun had one game suspension that was turned into a probationary period. Ronaldo had a 2-game suspension turned into a probationary period. That's 2-1. That's twice as many matches of a suspension that were essentially deferred. And the red card wasn't taken away, the red card was kept. And therefore, it's not as the Andy Davies said, the former referee, well, this is essentially taking off the red card. Well, it's not. It's saying the red card was there, but it was the misappropriation of VAR, and he shouldn't be suspended for 1 game.
Correct.
Or we're going to do for Balogun the same thing we did for Ronaldo, which we've already created the precedent that people did not lose their minds over. But they're losing their minds now. We should also point out that if Balogun should serve a 1-game suspension for a red, then Messi should have served the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
The difference is they didn't go to VAR to look at Messi, which was way worse than what Balogun did and should have been a red. Was way worse than what we saw last night for England.
Yeah, agreed.
The way that Messi had the cleat tied to the back of the calf in a challenge, whereas the English player slides, makes the tackle, and then the follow-through
Off the ball.
hits the guy's leg. Well, that's a red card. Messi didn't touch the ball, didn't have a clean tackle that then the follow-through resulted in scraping the back of the leg. That was just playing out. His foot goes boots up to the back of the leg. That's a red card, not viewed by VAR. This one was. Why? Because that official was corrupt. This is FIFA saying, our bad, that official sucks. And he made the wrong moves. And I guess part of me too, and this is where it's watching American sports rather than watching FIFA and soccer my whole life and that being the main sport, is the amount of times we wake up on a weekday and go, oh, that was upgraded to some, $30,000 fine or something. Oh, this guy's now going to be suspended 2 games for a helmet-to-helmet contact, even though like the flag was thrown. He wasn't kicked out of the game, but the NFL has now given him, Cisco for the Jags has now given him a 2-game suspension because of this. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. Or they go and appeal and it's dropped to like 1 game. We see it all the time in American sports. So that's why waking up yesterday, I wasn't like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening. I'm like, oh, okay. Then I saw everybody going crazy in the controversy and the corruption with everybody saying like this is the worst thing we've ever seen. And I'm like, oh, I guess that's just the difference of being conditioned to having different things changed, either greater or lesser. And the point being, there are mechanisms in place to do that. This is one where they say the mechanisms are not in place. Yet they were in place back in late November when Ronaldo had his 2-game suspension. That was moved into a probationary period for a year. The exact same thing they did with Balogun. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling. More Zone next. Well, the world's biggest soccer tournament is more than heating up in the U.S. It's heating up off the pitch as well, with all of the complaints and people weighing in on what they think of the decision. And the U.S. will be in action tonight against Belgium. Whether Balogun is out there or not, the U.S. will be playing against Belgium. And right now, they are trading at 53%. So what that means is you put money on the U.S. if you were to do that market, and you put, let's say, $100. If the U.S. advances, you're going to win $179. But let's say that 53% jumps to 80 or 90%. But then Belgium is right there going back and forth. For instance, Yesterday, if you looked at Mexico and England, when England jumped up 3-1, Mexico was trading at 9%. If you were to put, let's say, $100 at Mexico at 9 or 10%, they scored a goal to make it 3-2. They jumped up to 40%. You didn't have to wait for the match to be over and then you lost your money. And, oh, well, I put them on it at 10%. I was going to get 10 times my money if Mexico would have ended up winning. You could have been sold and traded out of your position at 40% and you made 4 times your money. Then you could have placed that money on England if you wanted to. I did that the other day over the weekend, just playing it back and forth, and it ended up working out with Morocco and being able to get Morocco at 50% when they were trading originally at 80 or 90%. It worked out well for me, and that's what I can do at Kalshi. And right now, you can use the code JASON810, JASON810 code. When you download the Kalshi app, use that code, get $10 when you trade 10. And the beautiful part about Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market. There's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. It's Kalshi, Kalshi, Kalshi. Again, the code is JASON810. Kalshi, trade the beautiful game.
18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
By the way, the English fans that are acting like this is corrupt, I'm guessing are pretty upset about the ruling with the start time of Mexico and England, because the severe thunderstorms that were coming through in Mexico, which ended up delaying the match, Mexico and FIFA wanted to move the match up in time to avoid the weather. But the English Prime Minister, who has come out and taken credit for this, just as the president has come out and taken credit for the FIFA Balogun ruling, which people are then taking at face value, as in, well, he said this, therefore it must be true that he did this. The Prime Minister of England said they would not allow the English team to play in an earlier match time because FIFA is trying to help the Mexican team gain an advantage because the English players had not then acclimated to the elevation of playing at the Azteca.
The extra 2 hours really going to be a huge difference.
So they then did not move the game time up and kept it where it was and then had to delay it because of the storms. So I'm assuming they're just as pissed off about that political influence too. I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. The French Football Federation is now asking FIFA to review Michael Oliso's second yellow, which resulted in a red, so that he will not be suspended for their next match. Well, this is just pissing me off. Why are we allowing these teams to do that? We're so mad about the Americans doing it, then people should have integrity. There's a part of me that just goes, you know what, sit Balogun tonight. Don't even care. I thought they were going to win without Balogun yesterday morning, and I'm like, they're going to beat Belgium. The best attackers for Belgium are in their mid-30s, and he had to be pulled off with 10 minutes to go in the match. Anyway, like they're old. The same guys that are their best attackers are the ones that were on the pitch in 2014. That were on the field in 2014 against the U.S. when Tim Howard was standing on his head making saves all game. Same guys. So, and Belgium has not looked good. They got outclassed for, 89 minutes of that match, and then 2 goals that were scored, and all of a sudden they end up winning. Like, I wasn't really all that concerned about Belgium, even without Balogun.
Well, that's why I think...
So the part of me that is actually annoyed that this ruling came down.
Well, that's, I think, why Belgium has been so adamant against this as well, but specifically is they've not played great soccer.
Mm-hmm.
They got a little lucky with a friendly PK call go their way. Free kick right there. That's pretty friendly for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they understand that, hey, they're not where they once were. They need things to go their way. They need all the help they can get. And I think that's a little bit of why they're scared by this. They are scared. And we mentioned it, and I think it's just so true. Teams and countries are scared the United States in soccer have caught up, or at least catching up. I don't want to say they've caught up yet. That might be a little unfair to some of the powerhouses. I'll agree, but they're catching up. It's a little bit like the NBA. There's some countries, Serbia, Slovenia's gotten better. Spain back in the day. I think as Americans we can admit that at times it was a little nerve-wracking seeing some countries catch up a little bit.
Oh yeah,
right. I mean we're man enough to admit that. So, even when those situations transpired, I never would have been like, yeah, sit their best player. I don't want to play them without Jokic, without Wembanyama, without Tony Parker, without Manu Ginobili, without Paul and Marc Gasol. Like, what are we doing here? Beat the best at their best. Then you have no complaints.
Yep.
There's no asterisk. Be adults.
What would your reaction be if Pochettino simply sat Balogun tonight?
Well, it'd be great if they, honestly, what it comes down to is if they win, the United States won, and they sat him, that's best case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
If they sat him and they lost, I would be livid. I would be irked. I would be
I'd be fine with it, actually.
I would not be. I would be. And again, that's obviously known the results, but I have to be honest with it. I would be pissed if the United States lost and they sat Balogun. I would say, no, I'd be furious. I'm
Ask for the immediate removal of Pochettino as the U.S. men's national team coach, which is probably going to happen anyway because he was signing on for it was an arranged marriage.
I'd be furious. No,
Yeah.
I know that's all results based, but that's where
The
I'm
worst
at.
case scenario is Balogun plays and they lose.
Yes, correct. Then
That's the
it's
worst case scenario.
Yeah,
So
but you can go out.
I'd be totally fine if they sat him.
If you go out winning with him on the field or losing even with him on the field, you can only say, okay, well, they're not there yet. They're not there yet.
Yeah.
But you got to go out with your guys. You go out slinging.
What sucks is that, like, most of the consensus is, yeah, that probably wasn't a red. But they don't rescind reds. Therefore, this is a controversy and he should be sitting for a game. That's where my view is where, okay, so the end result is right?
Yeah.
The result of him being allowed to play is the right outcome? People are pissed off about the process of the outcome. That's what they're mad about, is the process of the outcome. Now you have some that just go, no, that's a straight red. That's so obvious. Oh, it's so cute how Americans are seeing this and learning about soccer for the first time. And my response would be, oh, it's so cute how the Europeans are seeing that FIFA's corrupt. Oh, it's so cute that they're just now finding out FIFA's corrupt. Oh, that's weird. That's so cute. You cute little, non-Americans realizing FIFA's corruption. Oh, man, that's so cute. Just as the same is said about those that look at it and go, that's not really a red. Well, you don't know soccer. Okay, so Zlatan and Henri don't know soccer either? Other national soccer writers, former players, they don't know soccer either? Or you're just being a pretentious non-American U.S. men's national team fan, and again, want to act like the superiority over the particular sport is there. That's fine, just admit it. But then I get to offer to you how cute it is that you don't know FIFA's corrupt. That's pretty sweet. That's pretty cute. How sweet of you. Bless your heart, you didn't know FIFA was corrupt. Welcome. It's so cute that the non-Americans are learning that FIFA's corrupt. I like it when they realize some things that everybody's aware of. Like, that's the same absurdity. But again, I can look at it and say, I know the real reason why people are upset about this. And I see the comparison to how people rooted against the Chiefs, but used a projection to say, well, no, this is why I don't want the Chiefs to win. No, this is why I don't want the U.S. men's national team to win, is because of this particular ruling. While also looking at it and saying, I'd be totally fine if Balogun didn't play. Because I hate when people, and this is where you and I sort of disagree in how we experience, whether it be fandom or others' opinions. It bothers me way more than it bothers you when people bring up the dynasty is fake because the NFL and the officials are creating it for them. And it's hard. I've gotten better.
Yeah, the reason why it doesn't bother me is because I just think those people aren't serious people.
Yeah.
I don't.
And but then you got actual national analysts that are playing into it as well.
I just don't value their opinions.
Yes.
Don't get upset by people whose opinions you don't value.
But do you value their opinions if they then said, well, no, this is not that?
It depends on the person.
You value the opinion based on what the opinion is or the person?
It depends on the person.
Okay. Because that would be different than, well, I disagree with that opinion, so therefore I don't value the opinion. But I can be of that mindset and also look at it and go, I'd be fine if Balogun didn't play. If they just simply said, you know what, we're going to sit Balogun because we don't want this to be about one player. It could also be Balogun just simply says, I'm not going to play. I don't want to be the entire story about the World Cup and people saying that the U.S.'s run or win is therefore tainted forever moving forward because they will talk about this and say the U.S. cheated to be able to do that. There was a part of me that, I'd rather it just be the U.S. goes and wins, and you don't have all these crybabies out there that are looking at it and saying, well, yeah, but they cheated to be able to do that. Because they didn't. FIFA made the ruling. People understand that Portugal cheated to be playing here in the knockout round against Spain. They're playing at 2 o'clock. They cheated because Ronaldo got to play in 2 of the 3 group stage matches. So therefore they cheated. Well, did he make an impact or not? I don't know. Maybe he did. Will Balogun make the impact tonight? I don't know. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. But I'd be perfectly fine if Pochettino or Balogun said, we're not going to play him. We're just moving forward. This is an entire team. We're not going to make this whole thing about one particular player. We'll take a timeout. More Zone next.
He plays or not, doesn't matter. USA is going to get that dub. That's what I think. And on the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. I had Balogun for a goal, but he got subbed off in the 60th minute. What happens now? We thought that was stupid, and FanDuel said, you're right. That is dumb. That shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen. You should get a full game until the final whistle, not just 60 minutes. That's not long enough. We want you to have 90 and then even extra time. FanDuel Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. That is right. If your player leaves the match early, your bet continues on with the substitute. This actually happened to me yesterday. I'm trying to think of what game. There's a Mexico-England game last night. Had someone on Mexico for 2+ shots on goal. The guy got subbed out later in the game. Well, guess what? His guy that came in for him came in, got that shot up. What happens? That bet hit. Oh, baby. That's FanDuel Super Sub. This way, you are in it until the final whistle. And sometimes player gets subbed off. That player comes in. You don't have that player. That's on your bet right now. And guess what that means? Fresh legs, fresh opportunities to score. So visit FanDuel.com/local to get started now. FanDuel.com/local to get started.
21 plus in President, Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, wrapping up this hour, we'll talk some Chiefs football on the other side of the break. ESPN puts out a couple of rankings that we'll talk about. One, an overall roster for the Chiefs, where it ranks, and then specifically individual rankings of running backs. We'll talk about those things as well. Mick Schaefer will join us in the 1 o'clock hour. Some Learned Funniest Best with Mick Schaefer. An hour from now, we'll talk with Joel Penfield, One Royal Way podcast, get his thoughts on the Royals overall. Bobby Witt, his first ever All-Star game start at shortstop. Michael Waka, also an All-Star. Luinder Avila, what that may mean moving forward. A couple of other points to bring up with Joel Penfield, but some Chiefs next. We'll talk with Joel Penfield coming up an hour from now. Get his thoughts on the Royals, Lewinder Avila, what the future could be. All-star selections for the Royals, Bobby Witt, Michael Wacha. What does it say that the Royals got 2? And the Royals a half game better than the worst record in all of baseball. The Angels 1 game worse or better. Who knows? Depending on what you're rooting for. In not just the worst record in the American League, but the worst record in all of baseball. So that's the type of season they are having right now. We know that. So we'll talk with Joel Penfield coming up at noon. ESPN has gone through with Aaron Schatz, has teamed up with Mike Clay and Seth Walder. And they went through all of the, after the draft picks and the free agent signings and the rosters that are, let's just say, mostly set for the 2026 season, heading into training camp. So they went and looked at every single roster and ranked them 1 through 32. So obviously, where do the Chiefs come in? That's what we would look at. They don't come in 32 because that's the Miami Dolphins. Cleveland Browns are number 31.
Dude, that Dolphins team is horrific.
Yes, that's why they ranked them 32. Cardinals and Falcons tied at 29.
What?
Yeah.
I don't feel like either of those two teams should be that low, especially Falcons.
Then they got 28 the Titans, 27 the Raiders, 26 the Saints, 25 the Jets, 24 the Panthers, 23 the New York Giants, 22 the Vikings, and they project Kyler Murray to be the starting quarterback.
As I think they should.
Yeah. 21 the Washington Commanders.
That looked like a flash in the pan, doesn't it? That one season they had, yeah.
A little bit. 20 the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
Kind of feel the same thing of last year, and then they make that trade for Sauce Gardner, cost them 2 first-rounders. 19 the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Seems high still.
18 the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 17 the Chicago Bears. 16 the Jags. Now you're in the top half of the NFL ranking. 15 the Bengals. 14 the Cowboys. 13 the Chargers. 12 the Kansas City Chiefs. Coming at number 12.
Where are the Broncos?
So I'll go from 1
Sorry,
to 11 now. No, you're good.
Yeah,
You're good. I'll go from 1 to 11. Number 1, the Rams.
Yep.
Number 2, Eagles.
Sure.
Number 3, Seahawks.
Wow. That seems very, very, very high. I get they just won the Super. I get that, but that just seems very high.
Number 4, Bills. Number 5, Ravens.
Sure.
Number 6, Lions.
Okay.
7, Patriots.
Seems a little high.
Yeah. 8, Broncos.
It's hard because I think the Broncos are a really good team. I just don't believe in Bo Nix necessarily, and so
Yeah.
I have them lower for that exact reason. I don't think their weapons are phenomenal. I think they're fine. They're better with Jalen Waddle, obviously, and Cortland Sutton. I just think the Broncos, we'll see what they are this year, but I don't think they have that much. And maybe they do. Maybe you agree. Do they have a better roster than KC?
The defensive line already with the defense they have already
Yeah, sure.
with being that good.
I mean,
And then they have an offensive line that's pretty damn good, and the wide receiver core is better than the Chiefs.
But I guess for me, I look back and go, okay,
Quarterback is
but
such
how
a
much
difference.
do you
though.
how much do you weight? Yeah, how much
Yeah.
do you weight
Right.
the quarterback?
Yeah.
Like Rams doesn't matter because they're good everywhere. Lions, I get, even with Jared Goff being maybe bottom of the top 10 kind of area-ish. That entire team's so good. You're like, yeah, no, that still makes sense. Seattle, to me, is, what are we doing? That just seems like a complete overreaction.
Well, they write here about Seattle. Biggest strength, interior defensive line. Defending champs allowed a league low 17 points per game last season. Finished 3rd in the league in run-stop win rate. Biggest weakness, running back, with losing Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet coming off the ACL tear. Jadarian Price was the final pick of the first round. X factor for 2026 is Rashid Shaheed.
Yep.
And non-starter to know is edge Derek Hall, is what they list here.
I think for me, though, when you look at that team, and Sam Darnold was great last year. I mean, again, he was awesome. This is not trying to take anything from Seattle. But I view them a lot like the New York Knicks in basketball, where I go, they won. They deserve a lot of credit, but they got hot at the right time, and I don't think that's a great team. I think it's a good team. I think they're a very well-balanced team. I think they are a well-constructed team. But I'm not looking at that team going, oh, that's terrifying. They're going 14-3 again and making it all the way back. To me, the Seattle Seahawks this year look like about a 10-7 team to me. And I think the Knicks next year will find out. But that seems like a second-round playoff team to me. But guess what? In any given year, you get hot, you get things go your way. It works.
I think the big part about the Broncos is, what does Bo Nix look like? Because if Bo Nix takes a step forward, then the Broncos are real threats moving forward.
Correct.
Because of the players they have. The offensive line is good. The wide receiving core with Cortland Sutton, Jalen Waddle, and Pat Bryant. Kenneth Walker's a better player than J.K. Dobbins. Kelsey over, whether it be Troutman or Ingram at tight end. But then that defense is already set as one of the best defenses in the league. The difference is, I believe there's a gap between Mahomes and Bo Nix. I think most people believe there's a gap between Mahomes and Bo Nix.
Sean Payton doesn't.
Well, it's because he's, I don't know. He also doesn't know much about the injury for Bo Nix, because Bo Nix disagrees on what Sean Payton thinks about his injuries. Number 9 is the Houston Texans, even though their offensive line is terrible, but their defense is so good.
Yeah, they're an interesting one.
Yep.
They're hard to rank.
And you've got the wide receivers that are good.
When they're healthy.
When healthy, yeah. Number 10, Green Bay Packers. Number 11, the 49ers.
Sure.
And then you get to number 12, the Chiefs.
Green Bay's probably a little high for my taste. Jordan Love's a good quarterback. What their wide receiver rooms it's fine.
They paid Christian Watson.
Yeah, it's their defense isn't great.
Tucker Kraft is awesome as a tight end.
Their entire team is slightly above average. Like everywhere you look, you're like, it's not a bad team. They don't really have massive holes, but defensively, I don't think they're great. I don't know.
You don't know about what the health of Micah Parsons will be this year.
I wouldn't put them above the Chiefs.
I don't think I would either. But they did all the rankings and voting, and then they combined them.
I don't think it was a horrible list. The only one that stands out to me, really, the only one that was like, that's shocking. Two that I thought were shocking. I thought the Falcons were too low at 29. I don't think they're a good team, but they were probably more like that 22 range. And I feel like the Seahawks at 3 are just, they're giving them too much love for last year. That's just those were the two that stood out the most for me.
So I'm looking through here and trying to find the Falcons. Here we go. So it says biggest strength, running back. It gets into how good Bijan is. Biggest weakness, quarterback.
Yeah.
Penix and Tua Tagovailoa. X factor is Avion Terrell.
Yeah.
And then non-starter to no edge rusher, Samson Ebukam. But it doesn't really say like this is. See, I would rather them get into like this is why we have them ranked here.
Yes.
Rather than here's the biggest strength, here's the biggest weakness, because the biggest strength doesn't necessarily make it a strength comparable to the rest of the league.
Yeah.
This is like Bijan being the biggest strength. Yeah, that makes sense comparable to the rest of the league, why that would be their biggest strength. But just because it's a team strength does not mean it's a strength compared to the 31 other teams. Of course, that's why you would be ranked that low. If your biggest strength is a running back and your biggest weakness is quarterback, it's tough to overcome that in the rankings overall. For Miami, the biggest strength is running back with Devon Achane. The biggest weakness, the secondary. But let's get into the Chiefs and what they write about the Kansas City Chiefs. See if you agree, disagree with some of these things. Because I wholeheartedly disagree with one particular part that they wrote about. Biggest strength, quarterback. Patrick Mahomes recovering from a left torn ACL and hasn't finished better than 6th in QBR since 2022, but he remains Kansas City's best player before his injury-shortened 2025 season. The two-time league MVP had led his team to 10-plus wins in the AFC Championship game 7 seasons in a row. He's won the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP 3 times each and is still only 30 years old. Expected to be ready for Week 1, Mahomes will be counted on to lead the Chiefs to a bounce-back season. That's Mike Clay. Biggest weakness. Have you seen this list?
No, I'm not. No.
You want to guess as to what they put as the biggest weakness for the Chiefs? Michael, I'll have you weigh in on this one as well.
I'd assume wide
So,
receiver.
Biggest strength is,
No, you know what?
unless you've seen this already,
no,
Michael.
I haven't. I have.
You know what I bet they end up putting because they don't know ball? They'll probably put like cornerback.
Or right tackle or something like that.
Well, it's positional. So the other biggest strengths and weaknesses are like wide receiver, cornerback. Let me just grab one other one. Edge rusher, defensive tackle. So they don't do an individual position. It's more like, even if it's a grouping, it's like defensive line, but it's more defensive tackle or edge or secondary. Some they have listed as specifically cornerback.
I bet
So
it'll- I
never
bet- I
like
bet
one
it'll-
individual person.
I bet they're going to be wrong, but I bet it'll say secondary or cornerback.
They're wrong about it, but Michael?
So they're wrong about it?
They're wrong about it, yes.
I'll say offensive line.
Mike Clay put the biggest weakness is the Chiefs' offensive line.
Wow.
There's
On
no.
the team.
I almost cussed again.
Yes.
I'm catching myself, but I'm heated today, I guess.
The Chiefs added just enough at corner to allow me to stick with offensive tackle for
See,
the
I
third
knew it was going to be
consecutive
something
year.
done because corner's not even close.
As Kansas City's tackles ranked 31st in run block win rate last season, the head-scratching 4-year, $80 million deal handed to Juwan Taylor a few years ago did not work out, and the Chiefs moved on during the offseason. They'll now turn to longtime reserve Jalen Moore there. Left tackle Josh Simmons was serviceable in 8 appearances as a rookie, and the 2025 first-round pick is a candidate for a year 2 leap. Kansas City is also less deep after trading Wanya Morris in June. Wanya Morris does not change how deep the Kansas City Chiefs are at tackle or offensive line.
No, they
in any way,
if
shape,
they would
or
have kept
form.
Wanya Morris, this was their strength, apparently, according to these guys.
Well, they're less deep. They would have been deep. I don't want to say much deeper, but they would have been deeper at offensive line had Wanya Morris still been on the Chiefs. And this goes back to the same narrative, Sterling, that took place in the offseason about the Chiefs have to address offensive line. Trade up to number 3 to get an offensive lineman. They're going to get an offensive lineman. Left tackle, right tackle, doesn't matter. They have to address the offensive line. In fact, we heard Todd McShay say that Andy Reid was, quote, hell-bent on fixing the offensive line, according to one of his sources, inside the Chiefs. A source inside the Chiefs told him Andy Reid is hell-bent on fixing the offensive line. I don't know who that source is, but that source is full of bleep. Because if Andy Reid was hell-bent on fixing the offensive line, they would have addressed offensive line in one of their first 3 picks. But they did not. They didn't address offensive line in the draft at all, and then traded a depth piece. Yet that narrative, Sterling, throughout the entire offseason, draft season, now post-draft season, even when we heard Brett Veach joke about, I just let people think we were going to draft tackle. You fools! And then seeing them trade Wanya Morris, at least for one particular person in Mike Clay, has not changed the opinion that the weakness on this Chiefs team is the offensive line. But Sterling, if they truly believe the Chiefs' offensive line is the biggest weakness, or offensive tackle, offensive line, then they shouldn't be ranked 12th. If that's the biggest weakness, they should be higher than 12th.
And this was hard is because I want to dunk on these guys so bad because not only did I mention 2 strengths for this team, offensive line and corner, like those were the 2 options they chose between, but they said cornerback and offensive line.
So let me change it here because I've been reading offensive line. So because I wrote it down on my format, offensive line. See if this changes it because my apologies. Offensive tackle specifically. So I wrote Chiefs and then weakness offensive line, even though it was written offensive tackle. So now I'm reading actually from the list here.
It's
and
still
it says,
silly.
Okay,
It's
but
silly.
I didn't know it changes it A little bit in my mind because it doesn't include the interior of the offensive line guard to guard.
Yeah,
it just
and
goes
that's
offensive
fine.
tackle. So that's my apologies because I was writing the format out this morning and I put Chiefs weakness offensive line and it says offensive tackle. So now specifically reading the weakness offensive tackle and not off my stupid format that I can't transfer from one spot to the other. But I want to make sure that we're factually correct here. He put offensive tackle, and then he writes the Chiefs added just enough at corner to allow me to stick with offensive tackle for the third consecutive year.
To
for the Chiefs'
me,
biggest
and this
weakness.
is why it's so hard when you're a national guy.
I still don't think that's their biggest weakness is offensive tackle.
No, but especially when you are a national guy versus more localized. Localized, we know every single intricacy. We'll talk, you know, Ethan Downs at some point, I'm
Khalil
sure.
Benson.
Right, and so I do think it's hard because I think you hear these national narratives or you hear something and you go, well, let's just go with it because clearly if the national guy says it, then it has to be correct. So I think that's how these narratives start. They start as a small snowball, then they keep getting larger and larger. Next thing you know, you have a snowman and got a red card and won't play against Belgium. Oh, wait, maybe it will. Who knows? So I think so that's a little of what we're seeing here is because if you're in the know, and maybe people feel differently, that's totally fine. That's your right to feel differently. But to me, corner and offensive line, even tackle, not even it's linebacker, it's wide receiver, it's tight end, it's edge rusher, then maybe it's corner.
I mean, we
maybe
went through our rankings and we all were pretty much lockstep.
top four.
In our agreement on those things, and near the bottom was the linebacker part.
And so I think that's where we run into that little disconnect of, yeah, they probably don't know what Drew Tranquill looks like or what Jeffrey Bassa is going to be or the fact that the Chiefs lost Leo Chenal and how important he was to this defense. They probably don't realize that, hey, FAU was a former first-rounder who can't see the field, or that our Mason Thomas and Gelati are going to combine in the aggregate to make one good edge rusher. They probably don't realize that the Chiefs do a great job at developing, identifying cornerbacks, and they get the most out of those guys. Just to me, I don't want to say it's lazy because I don't want to call out someone's work, but
because they're putting the entire thing together.
So I just think to me it's such a macro view versus getting into the minutia, and it makes it difficult because no, I don't think tackle is that big of an issue. I don't think it's great. I'm not saying that this is the best tackle tandem in the NFL, but between Esapole, Jalen Moore, I think you have one guy who will win that battle and be serviceable. And I think we all see Josh Simmons as an above-average left tackle, even as a rookie last year. So for that reason alone, I can't put that as a weakness. Is a weakness having an above-average left tackle and a probably serviceable right tackle? Does that constitute a weakness in your mind? Because for me, that does not.
Is it even a top 7 concern?
Not
linebacker, wide receiver, edge. I mean, we could go down the list of things that would be more problematic before we got to offensive line. Maybe top 6. And it's 6, not top 5.
So looking at like run block win rate, I mean, if we're looking at the entire right and left tackle combined, then I would say, yeah, there's probably some issue in run block win rate last year. Josh Simmons was not that great at run blocking. He was good at pass blocking. Juwan Taylor struggled most of the year while he was playing. Also, Josh Simmons missed a number of games last year. I mean, he only played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He only played in 8 games last year. Josh Simmons did, because he got injured in that Dallas game. And missed the last 5 games? Yeah, because he missed the last 5 games because he missed 4 in the middle of the season. So that would be the 9 games he missed. He played in 8 of them. His run blocking was not all that great. Juwan Taylor had a bad season. So looking at it and saying they've moved on from Juwan Taylor and they are now turning to longtime reserve Jalen Moore, I don't think that's a negative. I think that's a positive because Juwan Taylor has dealt with knee injuries the last 2 years. And then it got him to where he missed games last year. And if Esapole can fill in. But they had a number of different people filling in at left tackle, including Jalen Moore, including Esapole at left tackle last year when Josh Simmons got hurt against the Cowboys. So you see Josh Simmons, who now looks like a UFC fighter, looks like the Aaron Donald of left tackles, where the guy is a left tackle, yet He's cut where his muscles are protruding his shirt. It's like, wow, you've got definition in your upper body, and yet you're an offensive tackle.
Your muscles have muscles.
That's odd. Usually they don't. And so this guy's, was it Bo Jackson that said this guy's breath had muscles?
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
About the dude that got him when he said it got on the Marshawn Lynch podcast.
I forgot about
he's
that.
Like,
yeah,
he's like, this dude's breath had muscles. But if there is an expected progression from year 1 to year 2, which I think there is from Josh Simmons, I think the Chiefs are fine at left tackle with Josh Simmons. They're fine, potentially really good at left tackle with Josh Simmons. But I need to see him play for a year.
sure.
I need to see that he doesn't voluntarily leave the team at any point in the season. That'd be nice to see it happen in a year. We've only had 1 year to go off of, but he's 0 for 1 in terms of not voluntarily leaving the team. He has been injured the last 2 years to where that injury cost him the rest of the year. Now, if he got that injury the first week of the season, it would not have cost him the rest of the year, but still, his injury in week 13 did cost him the rest of the season. So I want to see that. And how does Jalen Moore acclimate to playing right tackle full-time when he's been a left tackle his entire career? Or Esapole playing there? You have 2 options, which I think helps you in 2 options of guys that have some experience. Pole has experience last year playing. Jalen Moore's played for now 5 years in the NFL. 4 years in San Francisco, now 1 year with the Chiefs. So comparatively speaking, I think it's one of 2 things. If offensive tackle is your true biggest weakness, then you are ranked higher than 12th in the overall rosters.
Agreed.
Or you're just missing the boat that offensive tackle is not your biggest weakness in what that really is, comparatively speaking. Because I think wide receiver is a bigger issue than or linebacker a bigger issue than tackle. The unknown defensive end. The edge position is a bigger issue than tackle for me. You've got Karlaftis and you've got Gelati. You've got R. Mason Thomas, hopefully.
What's
FAU.
funny is I wonder, maybe we're too close to the situations we talk about it all the time, but I think offensive line's wrong. But it does feel like a lot of the national side, they're not worried about the Chiefs' wide receiver room.
Yeah.
I haven't heard many national folks be like, "Oh yeah, this Chiefs' wide receiver room is a major issue."
See, it's funny is there is no mention of the wide receivers for the Chiefs in strength, weakness, X factor, or non-starter to know.
Well, that's kind of my point. Is like I just feel like they think it's maybe better than we do locally.
Does Andy Reid get that, I guess, freebie that, oh, well, Andy Reid's offense is always good, so we can just count that the wide receivers are going to be solid, so it's not a concern?
I think there's also this sort of outside of Kansas City view of Rashee Rice that when he's on the field, he can be a dominant player. Like, he's a dominant player on the field. He's a player that when he's on the field, the defense says, where's number 4? But that's not reality. He's not that guy because he doesn't run the route tree. He's a bigger, thicker McCole Hardman. It's slants and wide receiver screens.
He's better than that. Come on.
No, he's a thick. I'm talking about how they use him.
Oh.
How they use him. It's slants and giving him the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Was the way that they ultimately, and then McCole Hardman would, run deep a couple of times and had that huge catch in the Super Bowl. But like mostly McCole Hardman was, well, we'll give him the ball on a reverse. We'll throw the ball quickly out to him. We'll have not necessarily as many slants, but just give him the ball in space and let him work. Rashee Rice is the running back version of that, to where let's give him the ball in space because he's a big dude that can break tackles and yards after catch is what he specializes in. But it's not let this guy run the route and get open and feel the space and JSN this. And I say JSN because he wants JSN money. Well, they don't have him do JSN things because if you subscribe to Reception Perception, you'll see that last year was a bad year for Rashee Rice, and he didn't run that many routes outside of just the gimmicky stuff. And when he did, he was bad at it. There's a lot of red. Like in Baseball Reference, you want to see the bold numbers, right? In Reception Perception in the route trees, you want to see green. Past 10 yards is almost all bright red for Rashee Rice. Within 10 yards and behind the line of scrimmage, green everywhere, right? A little bit like Baseball Savant.
Yeah,
Blue and
yeah.
red. That's maybe a better way of looking at it. Blue and red for Baseball Savant. You want to see all the red possible. Blue means cold. This one, green, means go. It means they're really good at that. Red is they sucked at this. And there's green and yellow and sort of like a stoplight. I don't know if you know this, but red, yellow, green. Stop, caution,
Or she
go.
would not know about a stoplight.
Damn it, that's so good. It's always green for him. It's the only time he saw red was on his
Green
his
means
route
go,
tree.
yellow means speed up, red means floor it.
Don't do that, kids, if you're out there. But that to me is sort of interesting that is there, let's talk about that on the other side of the break. We'll take a time out. Is there a view nationally that the Chiefs wide receiver room is fine because the view of Rashee Rice is that he's a dominant player when he's on the field, and Xavier Worthy is a player going into year 3 that will look more like a first rounder. Even if he's not the first rounder, he's still a good deep threat wide receiver overall. Tyquan Thornton, whatever it might be. I want to talk about that on the other side of the break. I also want to get into the X Factor and Weird Wolf, and I want to get into Arrow Man, and we'll talk about all of the different super fans outside of X Factor. But what their X Factor for 2026 is, and the non-starter. Don't look at this ESPN story, guys. I want you to come up with what you think the X Factor is and the non-starter, the player on the Chiefs team that is not starting this year that people need to know heading into 2026. We'll do that coming up next.
On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore with FanDuel Super Sub. If your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. This has been very helpful for me all soccer long. Honestly, this has been massive. I had a nice little heater right now on FanDuel, and Super Sub has helped me tremendously. Last night, didn't need it a ton, but I had a little something on goal and assist or assist for Harry Kane. And that one hit. I had one on Raul. That one hit. I did have Mexico winning that game, but it didn't matter because I also had over on the goals. Been having a lot of fun right here on FanDuel. But again, this might be the best thing that they have. The best thing they have, at least in my opinion, is this Super Sub, because if your player leaves the match early, again, hypothetically, you bet on, let's say, Weston McKennie to have an assist. Let's say he gets pulled out in the 74th minute. He doesn't have an assist yet. But the guy that came in for him gets an assist. Well, now your bet just hit. Your bet doesn't end when your initial player leaves the game because your bet continues on with that substitute. And with, fresh legs, especially late in the game, that's a fresh opportunity to score. Sometimes it's almost better. Sometimes you want your initial guy to go out and the new guy to come in because now you might have a little advantage late in the game. This is all FanDuel Super Sub. It has been awesome for me. I think you'll love it as well. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/local to get started now. This way, you are in it until the final whistle. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
21 plus and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We'll talk with Joel Penfield coming up at noon, One Royal Way podcast. World Cup matches get underway today at 2 o'clock. Portugal, Spain. The controversy surrounding Portugal, Spain, that Ronaldo was allowed to play the group stage matches after given a 3-game ban by FIFA. That 3-game ban was then suspended and turned into a 1-year probationary period, and he did not have to serve the final 2 games of that red card and was allowed to play all 3 matches in group play. So the huge controversy continuing to surround Portugal, and now this Portugal-Spain. The USA-Belgium, which has offered no conversation whatsoever for tonight, no controversy across the world at all, just total straight-up 2 good teams battling against each other. That's at 7 o'clock tonight. Sterling, you'll be leaving in about 20 minutes, right?
Correct.
To do what? To pre-party? To pre-watch
Dude,
party for U.S.?
Game the USA.
Yes.
I have caught myself like 4 or 5 times today
Doing what?
almost cussing. I don't know what's happening.
Almost drinking? Almost pre-gaming already?
I think I'm just so excited. I was going to say, yeah.
I am envious of you being able to do this this afternoon and leaving at noon.
Because
So those 2 things I'm envious of.
Because I'm going to say, I'm about to bleep and rage, dog. I'm heading down
The
to...
3rd time you've almost cussed.
Yeah, it's so many. Heading down to FanFest. I'll be on stage probably from about 2 to 9, 1 to whenever I get down there. But until the end of the game, we'll be having fun. USA, Belgium. I'll be the dumbass on the stage in an American flag outfits, just having fun, getting the crowd riled up.
As you should.
Talking about how much I hate waffles. It is going to be...
Will there be there'll be some Belgium fans probably there at FanFest.
German chocolate's better, boys. Woo!
Waffle House. Waffle House.
So, yeah.
Is this your theme song every time you walk in? By God, that's Sterling Holmes music.
Come out 3 things. God bless America. God bless our troops. And ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Yeah, dude.
What was that eagle-itis you said you had?
Eagle-itis, yeah. It's a real thing.
Eagles flying through his veins-itis.
It's a real thing that no one knows about.
Eagle eye. Eagle-itis.
Eagle Eye Jerry. Great artist. But yes, dude, I am so excited. I'll be there until 9 o'clock. FanFest, gonna be electric. Can't wait to see all the people out there. Can't wait for a USA win.
Yes.
Can't wait for Freebird to be played.
Yes.
Can't wait to show the European mind what it's like right here. But we'll be very nice and respectful because let's be real, we're so glad that everyone's here.
Are you going to sing along with Country Roads
Take me home.
after the game is over?
Take me home.
Little Elvis.
I really,
Little Freebird.
I really wish for this, since Flo is obviously allowed to play as of now.
You want a hat trick from him.
Yes, but what I really want, just to say a real bleep you to everyone else, we do the college game day thing. They turn the lights off, Enter Sandman comes on. Just get it real. Just rock it.
Bells.
Just rock. Well, we can't because Australia.
Oh.
It's a great song, but I realize we can't because AC/DC Australia, we can't really.
Hold on. AC/DC's from Australia?
I can never tell when you're kidding or not.
Huh. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to try to remember that for next time.
But
AC/DC, originally from Australia. Huh.
we could get this going.
The Beatles are from France, right?
Close.
Ah, darn it.
It's all the same.
I knew they were part of UEFA.
It's all French to me.
I knew they weren't CONCACAF. I knew that.
All I know is be respectful to the Belgians. Be respectful to the Europeans.
The Belgians are going through it right now. Be respectful.
We like to have fun, but we do it in a respectful way. Caw!
Is that what an eagle sounds like?
What an eagle sounds like, baby.
I don't think that's what an eagle sounds
Prove
like.
it.
I'm about to prove it. I'm going to bring up what a bald eagle sounds like right now.
Caw! That's what they sound like. Dude, they're vicious creatures.
It's like a screech.
This is what a bald eagle sounds like.
That should just be played in the background while Freebird's played.
That is very high pitched. I thought they were going to have a little deeper of a like a caw. A bald eagle.
I'm a bald eagle, man. Let me tell you something about America. Caw-caw!
Gosh,
Caw!
dude. I can't wait for tonight.
Caw!
I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna
there-
have so many beers to calm my nerves. Sorry, I'm gonna be gone tomorrow.
Is there anything better that Sterling was built for than being on the stage for these events?
This is his moment.
When it comes to stage work, he's him.
Timothy.
That guy.
He's him. You could walk out on stage and go, "Who do you think you are? I am."
Oh, the amount of dumb USA bids I'm gonna do tonight.
There you go.
All of them.
Every of them. Caw. Walk out in a bald eagle head. You know, you should get a bald eagle head.
No, I might actually like see if we can get a waffle somehow, and like hold it up and then throw it down and stamp on it. You know, let them know. Maybe get a flag and plant it. Get an American flag and plant
Waffle
it through.
IHOP. IHOP. Waffle House.
Yes.
Waffle House. Freedom waffles. Not Belgium waffles. Freedom waffles.
I love that it's right around July 4th too. I love that we
Right?
can just maybe some Lee Greenwood in the background.
Yeah. No weather
And
today,
I proudly
right?
stand up.
The weather outside is weather today? Isn't that
Yeah,
what it's supposed to be
in
just
fairness,
plain
I
old
have
weather?
been bad luck because a lot of the times I'm supposed to have been down there hosting, it's been
I think the weather outside is weather today.
bad.
So I think you're perfectly fine with that. Unlike Saturday, yeah, the weather outside is going to be weather. It's going to be sunny, mid 80s throughout most of the afternoon. Feels like is going to reach 90
Good, turn it up.
right around 2:30 or so.
I do love the games. Seriously, I love the games in Seattle tonight because if Kansas City can't host the game, I'm glad it's Seattle.
Dude, Seattle's such a home field advantage for
It's
the U.S.
such a big advantage, not just in the 12s, if you want to call it. What are they? Isn't that A&M? But they have like the same thing.
The 12th man is A&M.
But
Arrowhead.
they are a great soccer city
Yeah.
as well. I mean, give credit where credit's due. KC number 1, Seattle's 1B, and I'm glad it's there because that will be
Yeah.
a raucous crowd. It'll be loud. It'll be fun.
I'd rather take my chances. If I had my choice, I would choose that this one was in L.A. and President. Okay, so FIFA president statement. Gianni Infantino. I have seen the public comments regarding the decision of the independent FIFA disciplinary committee related to the suspension of Balogun. And I would like to reiterate a fundamental principle of FIFA's governance. FIFA's judicial bodies are independent. They operate autonomously, apply the FIFA disciplinary code, and decide cases based on the applicable regulations and the specific facts before them. Their independence is essential to the credibility and integrity of football, and this must always be respected. Yes, I regularly discuss matters related to the FIFA World Cup with the President of the United States, and on this matter, I did receive a call from President Donald Trump, just as I received calls from heads of state, government officials, football stakeholders, and business executives from around the world on many different issues. During our conversation, I explained that there was an ongoing legal process involving FIFA's independent judicial bodies and that the case would be decided in due course by the competent bodies. That is how FIFA's system works, and it is a principle that I will always uphold. I read the decisions of the FIFA Disciplinary Committee when they are issued. Sometimes I am surprised by them. Sometimes I agree with them. Sometimes I disagree. What I always do, however, is respect those decisions and the autonomy of the bodies that make them. Whether we personally like a decision or not is irrelevant. Respect for independent institutions and the rule of law is what protects the integrity of our competitions and the credibility of FIFA at all times. Thank you, Todd Lebo. Now that I have his phone, let me
too
tweet
long
something.
didn't read. What does it mean? Does it mean that he's good to go?
Let me, tweet something from Todd Lebo. Oh,
No,
there's your phone,
no,
Todd.
Lebo.
There's your phone, Todd. Thank you, Todd. I thought
what does that
Todd
mean?
had a plate of food when
What's
he
that,
walked
Lebo?
in.
No, what's that mean, Lebo? Does that mean he's good to go?
Yes, that means he's saying that this had nothing to do with Donald Trump's influence. That Donald Trump called him. He receives calls from political figureheads all the time, but the process was already ongoing and is an independent body that is not representing FIFA in and of itself, but is completely and totally independent. I thought, so Todd had a plate of food in his hand when he walked in. I thought he was bringing us Belgian waffles to chow down on. And I was
Dude.
actually kind of excited about it because I'll eat a Belgian waffle, just like the U.S. men's national team is about to eat the lunch of the Belgian national team.
Supper. 7 p.m. It'll be more of a supper.
Yeah. Breakfast, dinner, supper. That's
But
all right. Well, I mean, could it be a late lunch? Because it's 5 o'clock for the U.S.
all I know,
Early dinner, late
that
lunch.
was amazing. Great response. I didn't really care that much about it until we got to the point where it says he's good to go. There's a lot of words and things that were being said in that they
There were words in
they
there.
try to confuse
No,
me.
you're right. There were a lot of words in there, Sterling. You nailed it.
They try to confuse me. They said,
Nailed
"Hey,
it.
we're just going to start throwing things out there,
Words.
and 98% are going to not listen to all of this."
Words, man.
I'm part of that 98%.
Words.
We are one of us.
Words.
And all that matters,
What's all that
Balogun's
matters?
allowed to play.
Is that all that matters?
All that matters.
Okay. Is this all that matters?
I don't like their. I wish I didn't know that bald eagles sounded like that. I wish they just sounded more like caw.
Well, that's more of a bald eagle that hasn't reached puberty yet.
Yeah, that's a young
I think
bald
that's
eagle.
It's a very,
It's a
very
junior eagle.
young bald eagle.
That bald
And
eagle
it's
still has hair.
time to change.
That bald eagle still has hair.
That's right.
That's how young it is.
Bald eagle has a full head of hair. All right, real quick before we go to break and let Sterling go, the X factor for 2026, according to Mike Clay, for the Chiefs. Do a couple of these, and then we'll do the X factor and then the non-starter that people need to know.
I hope it's not Kenneth Walker because that's just too obvious.
Nope, it's not Kenneth
Okay,
Walker.
good. So I'm glad. I will say it is.
The X factor to make the Chiefs a
Okay.
Super Bowl type contending team.
Is it a rookie?
It is a part of the conversation as a rookie.
Yeah, because I thought it was going to be Peter Woods or R. Mason Thomas. I'll go R. Mason Thomas.
I'll say Peter Woods.
It is the second edge rusher. Is the way he presents
Yeah,
it, but lists
yeah.
R. Mason Thomas.
Yeah.
Lists Ashton Gelati, FAU, and then said it could be R. Mason Thomas this year's second-round pick. Regardless of who it is, the Chiefs need one of those players to emerge and become a pass-rushing threat opposite George Karlaftis. If not, that will be a weak point for the Chiefs' defense. That's Seth Walder that came up with that
Yeah,
one.
good call.
Last one, Aaron Schatz, non-starter that people need to know. So a guy who is not going to be a starter
I like Aaron
that people
Schatz, too. He's
need to know. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, non-starter
So,
that people
It's
need.
good. It's got a good engine. It's
need
good.
to know.
Offense or
good engine.
defense, or is that giving it away?
No, let's.
I don't think it would be giving it away.
Okay. then
Since
yeah.
since we're pressed for time to go to break
Yeah, let's
and you
do
got
it.
to leave anyway, it is on the offensive side.
Tyquan Thornton.
I'll say Amari DiMercato.
Well, that's Amare for Michael.
Really? Wow.
Hey!
Amari DiMercato. He writes here about the non-starter to know. Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker is now Kansas City's primary back, but he's never had more than 230 carries in a season and played all 17 games only once last year. Chiefs will probably have to depend a little bit on their backups, and the top guy is DiMercato. Similar to Walker, DiMercato was good for some explosive runs and had a career average of 6.5 yards per carry over 3 seasons with Arizona. He also has 50 career receptions. So DiMercato is the non-starter out of all the Chiefs players that are not starters, the non-starter that people need to know. And his reasoning is sound. The
Yeah.
same reasoning that you have with some of the deflated numbers in receiving for Kenneth
Correct.
Walker
Yeah.
this year.
I mean, I'm lockstep with him. I just didn't think that.
Yeah.
I didn't know I would be
You
as
didn't think
smart.
national people are that smart.
No, he is. He's smarter than me. Aaron Schatz is great.
Oh,
And so I
yes,
thought,
he is.
wow, I didn't know that he.
He hears words and understands them, unlike the FIFA president's statement that was saying words. and
I
you
don't
didn't
care.
understand
They're
them.
too long. Just tell me if he's playing or not.
He's playing. He's just saying we're not corrupt.
I don't care.
Guys, there's nothing corrupt about this. We followed our due process, and an independent counsel decided that that ref was a freaking cheater.
Yes, correct.
Decided that that ref was, as Sterling would say, out of his gourd.
Yeah.
And at FIFA, we give nor a hoot nor a holler
Yep.
about what people say, whether it is corrupt or not. This was an independent panel.
That ref and that call was 2 scoops of ass.
That's right.
Caw.
I want you to walk out on stage today and introduce, I'm Sterling Holmes. Caw-caw!
You should get a chant going. See how many people in the crowd you can get to do.
Caw-caw! Caw-caw!
Stomp, stomp, caw. Stomp, stomp, caw. Oh, caw. 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 Caw.
All right, wrap it up this hour. We will talk with Joel Penfield coming up on the other side of the break. Get his thoughts on Bobby Witt, officially the All-Star game starting shortstop for the first time in his career. Won't be the last time in his career. We'll talk with Joel Penfield about that, some other things. Luinder Avila, what we've seen in his 7 games, do we start to change our opinion that maybe Avila could be part of the answer in who we look at as to potential starters for next year? We'll talk about those things. And CBS listed their top 25 trade candidates, and only one Royal shows up. And I'm surprised by it. And I'll ask Joel Penfield if another one that's obvious is no longer in the running.
Joel Penfield on the Zone is brought to you by Reed Collision Center, serving Overland Park, Kansas City, and St. Joe. Get a free photo estimate in minutes at reedcollision.com. That's reedcollision.com.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes heading out to FanFest. He'll be rocking the stage today. Starting a little bit before 2 o'clock, maybe at 2 o'clock, who knows? Getting down there, preparing, getting ready to go. And he will be there at FanFest and on stage the rest of the afternoon and through the United States men's national team taking on Belgium. So that's where Sterling is. Michael Darcy hanging out with us an hour from now. We will hang out with Mick Schaefer. Right now, talking some baseball, One Royal Way podcast. Joel Penfield, our guest here in the zone. Joel, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I am doing just fine, sir. There's a lot of talk around soccer, so let's talk about baseball. Bobby Witt, finally, our long national nightmare is over, and Bobby Witt takes his place atop the throne where he should have been the last couple of years, officially the starter at shortstop in the American League in the All-Star game. What do you make of Bobby as the starter? And Joel, do you think this is the beginning of a number of years consecutively starting, or is already right behind him the reserve at shortstop from the Tigers, Kevin McGonigal, nipping at his heels to be the fresh, new, cool guy that has cost Bobby the last couple of years that maybe 2027 and 2028? Has Bobby established himself as the premier shortstop, and the voting will be just as an aside while we just talk about Bobby being the starting shortstop moving forward?
I mean, if we're a just society, I mean, Bobby Witt Jr. should be the starting shortstop for whoever he plays for, Kansas City or otherwise, for the next decade plus. Like, he is that talented of a player. He should have started the last 2 years. Jeremy Pena got him in the fan voting in 2024 for some reason. Jacob Wilson, of all people, got him last year. Bobby Witt Jr., this should be his third consecutive start in the All-Star game. Glad that it happened for him this year, and deservedly so. McGonigal is going to be a good test for him as we go forward. He's a heck of a young player. But Bobby is one of the best all-around players, not the best all-around player in the league right now, regardless of position. And I'm glad that he's getting the stage that he will have starting for the American League of shortstop.
All right, so I was surprised. I thought for sure that the Royals would end up with only one All-Star this year. And I was going back and looking before the All-Stars were named. I was going back and looking, and I'm like, you know what? It makes perfect sense for the Royals to get one All-Star, because if we look at the number of years since winning the World Series where the Royals only had one All-Star, 2018, 2019, 2022, and 2023. That would make sense, and that tracks with how bad those seasons are. And I was like, well, you know what? 2024, they had four. Last year, they had a couple with Bubic and Bobby, and this year they'll only have one, and that shows the spot that they're in. But they got two, and I'm happy they got two, because I did not realize, Joel, that it had been over a decade since Michael Wacha went to an All-Star game. Maybe that's the best way to describe Michael Wacha, Joel, is that maybe he's not an all-star, but he is as consistent as you'll find start in and start out, but nothing that's the glitz and the glamour to where he'll be recognized as an all-star year in and year out.
I've been saying this since about the middle of April, that he's the most underrated pitcher in baseball. He doesn't get talked about enough because he plays in Kansas City. He's, probably on the back end of his prime. He's 34, almost 35. He doesn't do anything incredibly flashy. It's not going to rack up a bunch of strikeout numbers. It's not going to be a low 2 ERA. It's not going to be these crazy dominant stretches, but he's going to throw 6 innings, 2 runs or less. He's going to strike out 5, and he's going to walk 1 and keep you in a ball game. And that's what he's done for his entire time in Kansas City. And I'm glad that he was recognized as an all-star. I was talking about this on my show from about mid to late April, beginning of May, that he is pitching like an all-star, and he should be an all-star. And I'm glad that he has been given that honor. I believe in the social video that the Royals put out that Q said to their research that he's one of only 3 guys to have an 11-year gap between all-star appearances in the modern era. So this is very unprecedented for a guy to have that sort of stretch. You'll see guys make an all-star team late in their career. Nick Markakis is a good example that made one late but never made one early. But Michael Wacha made one early and now made one, in his age 35 season for the Royals. This is a remarkable accomplishment and certainly deserved.
Who would you go with the starter for the American League? Would it?
Oh man, I need to look at. I have to be honest with you.
I'll give you.
I have not looked at I haven't looked at the full roster.
You are perfectly fine. I figured I might be putting you on the spot there. I will tell you that most people think it's going to be Cam Schlittler, but you also have Joe Ryan, Drew Rasmussen, Dylan Cease is striking out the world right now. You have. A lot of relievers this year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Schlittler.
It seems to be like what most everybody is going with is that it's going to be Schlittler starting.
Yep, I think that's probably who it's going to be. Just looking at the rest of the guys. A lot of first-time guys.
Yeah.
In the American League. Brian Baker, who's in his mid-30s, just made his first one. Shockingly, first All-Star game for Dylan Cease.
Yeah, right. I'm with you. I thought that was pretty surprising as well. So we'll find out. Ranger Suarez maybe could.
He just got dinged up last night though. He just left the start. He left his start early.
All right.
Against the Angels, I believe.
Yeah, and it's also like one of those to where it has to time up to where they're eligible to start.
Correct.
When they are actually going out there. And I don't think the Yankees are going to move some things around while they're in a pennant chase and a playoff hunt for Schlittler just to start the All-Star game if it means you have to move a starter around and affect 2 different guys in how they end their first half of the season before the All-Star break. So that'll be interesting to see what happens on that side of it. Mizorowski has to start for the National League. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's either Mizorowski or Christopher Sanchez who's going today for the Phillies.
I think from the eyes of it,
he gets so much of the headlines, but Sanchez has been unbelievable this year too.
Yeah, Sanchez has been amazing, but I think from the entertainment standpoint, because that's what it is. It's an It's I mean, all sports are just for entertainment, right? But for the All-Star game, I think the surrounding sort of pomp and circumstance. Sanchez has been amazing, but Mizorowski has been one of the stories of baseball the last year or so. I think it would be perfect if he was the starter.
He made the All-Star team last year after, I think, making 7 appearances because it's an entertainment product, and the guy throws 103. We want to watch that. I want to see him go in that first inning and see if he can hit 106. And I would not be shocked if he tried to do it because it'll just be the one inning.
Well, according to some people on social media, he's already hit 106.
Was it 105.5?
It was something along those lines. It was like it was crazy. Oh no, it was a 104.5, so it was like 105. But then there was another one to where I think the Cardinals hit a home run off him, and there was like, oh my God, 107. And then that started getting thrown around like everything. It was like, wow, he hit 107, 107. It's like, dude, Baseball Savant had it at 102.
Yeah,
that was it. But it was just somebody making it up. And that's what you see with social media is that. And then, of course, my son was like, dude, Mizorowski hit 107 today. I'm like, dang it. No, he didn't. He was like, yeah, but the guy hit a home run off it. I was like, oh, that was 102. I hate to crush your dreams, buddy, of that. But, yeah, that's what took place. Joel Penfield is our guest. Okay, so let me ask you from this perspective. Moving forward, as we look at the group of Royals that, could be on the team, maybe, whatever, healthy, who would you name as the next player to get their first All-Star game?
I think it's Jack. I think Carter falls into that category as well. And that feels like potentially end of list. I'm trying to think of because you have like relievers can make it if they have a good year, like Daniel Lynch or somebody like that. Maybe a Luinder Avila if he moves to the bullpen. I think he could be one of those guys that is has the dominant reliever season if they decide to go that route. But there's not many other guys that I think are true first time All-Star. I think it's really Jack or Carter in that category.
Yeah, I think that, and if I'm looking at like likely positional spots, and I look at this year's catchers, it's Shea Langoliers that's starting, makes sense, and then Dylan Dingler and Adley Rushman are the reserves for the American League at catcher, where, if Carter keeps hitting, then I think he could pass Adley Rushman, and the guy's not even catching the most on his own team right now. And then at first base, it's Vladdy that's starting but will be missing, and then it's Nick Kurtz and Ben Rice. And, Kurtz would be tough to surpass. Vladdy would be tough to surpass. So he would have to move into. So I think the most likely of positional spots might be Carter, an everyday catcher, if he's doing what he's doing as of late and continues the rest of this year to some degree, and then starts off next year doing that as then the primary catcher for the Royals. Could he pass Adley Rushman? Sure. Could he pass Dylan Dingler? Sure. I think he could do those things. Could he pass Shea Langoliers? I don't know. That guy's hitting moonshots constantly.
Yeah, well, and the argument for Keg is if he really starts to tap into the power with the regularity that we think he can, and he's got 26 homers at the All-Star break, like even if he isn't a starter, the players and the coaches that also get the reserves in will find a place for him to get an at-bat somewhere.
Yeah, and I guess it's funny because I'm looking at what Kaggs has played mostly since Vinny's gone down. He's played a lot of first base, but he's in right field today. I was looking at only first base, as if he was going to be the first baseman next year. So you got 6 spots for outfielders that are playing this year, and that's Buxton, Judge, and Trout. And Judge won't even be playing. He's going to be on the IL through the All-Star break. And then Arozarena, Bellinger, and Riley Green. So Jack would have to be, amongst that group of players or better. Certainly he can be there. I think he can definitely be there. Visiting with Joel Penfield, our guest from One Royal Way podcast. You mentioned Luinder Avila. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that because it seems like, Avila's on the mound. He's going to go 5 innings. He's going to go right around 5. And for the most part, he's keeping you in the game. From these 7 starts since he has been placed in the rotation, and obviously there was that bad one against Houston when he had 2/3 of an inning and 8 earned runs. Has he done enough in these 7 starts to say that he should be in the running and in the mix for a starting spot next year? Or has he's done enough in filling in that potentially he could be a break in case of emergency and so many injuries happen next year like are happening this year, but ultimately you think he should be late or a back end part of the bullpen, 7th, 8th, maybe not 9th, but around there. What's your view of Avila after having these 7 consecutive starts for him?
I think you're probably going to need to ask me this question again in September, just because I want to see a larger sample of him starting.
Make a note of that.
I think what is very clear with Luinder Avila is that his stuff plays in the big leagues. Like, I don't think that is a question. I think the way that his stuff moves, the confidence to throw all of these different pitches, it's really just honing it into the strike zone. He talked about that yesterday after the game. Q talked about it as well, that you just got to get it around the plate. And nothing is straight. The fastball has this natural cut to it. He can sink it. He has the 2 different breaking balls and the changeup. He throws them all the time, so he has confidence in all 5 pitches. It's not like the kind of the Brady Singer thing where it's just, I'm going to throw sinker, slider, just because those are the only 2 pitches I feel good about throwing. He'll throw all 5, which is a good sign for a starter, that you can mix it up 1, 2, 3 times through the order, and there's the learning process with that. I still want to see over the larger sample, maybe over the next month or 2, because, listen, he's going to be in the rotation for the rest of the season. So this is a long tryout for what he can be in 2027. I would not rule out him as a starter. I was very fervent in my belief that he was a reliever at the end of last season, beginning of this year. I've softened that stance a little bit, and I think the stuff plays well enough that with time and learning and figuring out being a starter in the big leagues every 5th day, that it can work and that he can be. But I want to see, okay, by August, is he getting into the 7th inning? Is the efficiency starting to get there? Are we seeing more swing and miss? Are we seeing the walks creep down? Are the strikeouts increasing? If we start to see those things, then I think you probably can pencil him into the rotation next year. But if we still see some of the inefficiency, if we see the walks haven't quite gotten to where, you can handle 2 or 3 times through the order, if the strikeouts are coming with it, then I'm maybe willing to make that trade-off. But right now, I think there's still more that I want to see before I fully believe that Loinder Avila is a starter in 2027.
Yeah, in these 7 starts, he's got a 5.04 ERA in 30 and a third innings pitched. You can't eliminate the Houston blow-up game. It happened. He also has a 1.42 whip in that time in those 7 starts. Right. But outside of the Houston blow-up game of 2/3 of an inning and 8 earned runs, which added 2 runs to his ERA in that one outing, the other 6 starts, he has a 2.73 ERA and a 1.18 whip, which is a little bit different. Now he's averaging 5 innings per game in those 6 starts, whereas if you throw in the Houston start, he's averaging 4 1/3 innings per game. But what's amazing to me, Joel, maybe you've seen this, but this stood out like a sore thumb. Do you know what the Royals' record is in that stretch where Loinder Avila started 7 games?
I want to say it's 5-2 or 6-1. They've given him a lot of run support.
6-1.
There it is.
The Royals are 6-1, and that has almost nothing to do with him. Do you want to know what Waka's record is over his last 7 starts? What the Royals?
I think it's 0-7.
1-6. 1-6.
Yeah.
Waka, the Royals are 1-6 when he's on the mound in his last 7 starts, and Avila, the Royals are 6-1 in the 7 starts for him for the Royals. It's just baseball's crazy.
Win-loss record.
Yes,
joke.
100%, man. Avila's 4-1 in that stretch of these 7 games, and Waka's 1-3. 1-3, his win-loss record, and Avila's 4-1 in that stretch. And you're talking about essentially the same guy. Well, not the same guy. You're talking about Waka going deeper into games and being an all-star, and Avila, pitching 5 innings and then being taken out of the game. Would you like to see moving forward? Because Avila, 3rd time through the order, get him out. And I think it's you can say you get him out with confidence, and the reason why in these 7 starts he's had 1 blow-up start, the other ones he's had a 2.73 ERA, is because of how the Royals are using him. And 105 pitches matters. Would you like to see him if he? Well, no. What did he end up having in this one? It was just 69 pitches in this one.
Yeah, it was not. I don't even think he got 70 pitches.
Yeah,
so
I
think it was coming up on the 3rd time through the order.
So the 3rd time through the order. Would you like to see, considering the Royals are a half game better of the worst record in baseball, that Avila starts to see the 3rd time through the order a little bit more often if you're going to keep him in the rotation, just to see, do you have a guy in a starter Avila that can mix things around and see a particular batter 3 times? Or the reason why maybe he's been confident and successful and going out and being more consistent is because they've been getting him out of there after seeing the lineup twice and not a 3rd time?
Well, I think it's a little bit of protectionism of a young player. We saw this with Noah Cameron last year, where now he was a little more efficient with his stuff. So he would, get into the 6th, and then that would be when about the 3rd time through the order would pop up, and then it was get it to the bullpen. So it's just happening a little bit shorter, time frame for Avila with the traffic that he sometimes sees in these outings. But I think as he builds up, as we see more of this, as he gets more opportunities, we see him, and listen, the season is what it is, so there's no harm in, hey, let's let him see the top of the order this time. Let's see what happens. Oh, hey, you got the first 2 guys, 3, 4, 5 coming up. We got a 3-run lead. Let's see if he can get this out. I think that will give them some data points for next year to see if it is something that he can handle. And if it is and he passes those tests, then it's just another box to check that he can be a starter in this league as we go forward.
Visiting with Joel Penfield, One Royal Way podcast. So I asked the question on, Friday. Asked the question if the Royals were aware of reality of what's going on right now, and mainly specifically Matt Quatraro, if he was living in reality of what the situation is. I asked it in terms of Carter Jensen, and looking at the stretch that he's gone on, the fact that over the 22 games, heading into that game on Saturday against the Phillies with Luzardo on the mound, that of the 22 games, that he had gone on that stretch, 6 of them he had batted in different spots in the order, not leading off. So 16 times leading off, 6 times not leading off. And against lefties was when he was not the leadoff hitter. And I asked the question, Joel, is Matt Quatraro living in reality of what the situation is and seeing what you have the rest of the way? And much to my surprise, on Saturday, Luzardo's pitching and Carter Jensen is leading off. Now, I'm not as concerned today of Carter getting a day off because he's played how many different games in a row.
This is his first off day since the 16th of June.
There you go.
I
Yes.
went and looked it up.
Yeah, so I don't think maybe it's twofold. It's that Sanchez is on the mound and he's, played every single day for this long. And you've got Maile coming up anyway, or on the team, so he can play. Is Quatraro maybe understanding reality a little bit more that the rest of the year, I mean, they'd like to win games, but you need to know more about guys you have for 2025. Like, is Carter your leadoff hitter? And that means against lefties, he's still your leadoff hitter, and you have to move him down to 6th or 7th or 8th in the lineup. He doesn't have to bat behind Lane Thomas and Starling Marte in the lineup just because there's a lefty on the mound. Do you think we see that more often since Q had him as starting on Saturday against Luzardo? I was pleasantly surprised, but I was happy.
And if you go back to Thursday as well against the Rays, it was Ian Seymour on the mound, who was a lefty for Tampa,
True,
and
yep.
Carter was hitting leadoff that day as well, and he lead off home run. So I think we're seeing it more and more, and this is one of those where people talk about so much about the, in a negative connotation about the spreadsheets and the data and the analytics. But if you actually look at that, Carter's got reverse splits right now. Like, he actually is hitting better against lefties. Now, the sample is smaller, but he's still doing that. Now, we talked about that last Monday. But, right now he's showing he can handle left-handed pitching really effectively. And that would then, the data would then show Carter needs to hit leadoff in some of these instances. Now, Luzardo shoved against them on Saturday, so obviously process results did not match up. But I think we're going to see that more and more. It may not be every single time there's a lefty. Carter's not going to hit leadoff every single time, I do not believe. But I think the vast majority of at-bats, that's where it's going to come right now. And we're seeing it with Caglione. He's not moving down very far in the order, even against a lefty. He's hitting 3rd or 4th, maybe 5th, depending on the matchups. But they're hitting those guys at the top of the order, right, left. They're not really platooning them. They're not pinch hitting for them. They are giving them every opportunity to get as many at-bats as possible against left-handed pitching. And while it may not lead to a bunch of wins this year, I think for their long-term development, it's an important spot given where the team is at right now. We may be having different conversations if the team was in a much better position record-wise, but given where they're at right now, I do think that everybody understands, it may not always all be just about this year. We got to figure out what these guys can do as we go forward.
And Cag's batting 4th today against one of the best pitchers in all of baseball that's left-handed. So Jensen has the day off, which I'm fine with because you mentioned June 16th, his last day off. Cag's in there playing right field and batting 4th for the Royals today. So it's not like let's get Cags out of the lineup too. Cags and Carter need to sit. Lane Thomas leading off, which brings me to my last question for you, Joel. Joel Penfield, One Royal Way podcast. We're getting closer and closer to the trade deadline of August 3rd. All-Star break right around the corner. In fact, a week from tomorrow is the All-Star game. CBS had their top 25 most likely trade candidates, and one player was listed for the Royals, and it was Lane Thomas. Now, it's one particular person's list. Plenty of others have different Royals listed, whether that be Marte or some bullpen pieces or even a Michael Wacha. Buster Olney was on with New Day last Thursday, Joel, and said the Royals have to seriously analyze what they think next year's season will be. And if they don't think there's going to be much of a season, they need to be aggressive in moving Michael Wacha. Do you think the Royals should be aggressive in moving Michael Wacha over the next 4 weeks or so and try to get something back for him with the looming CBA lockout on the horizon and maybe that 2027 season of where you're going, well, you're going to have Wacha for 2027, maybe a shortened season, and it may not even matter.
It's a really, really tricky spot that the Royals are in because in any other year, in most other circumstances, this is a spot where you trade everybody. You punt outside of your core pieces, anyone that's expendable, anyone that's got a year or two left on a contract, we're looking to shop. But as we've talked about before in previous segments over the last couple of weeks, this team isn't going to punt on the next couple of years to just to trade everybody because they still feel like they can be or should be competitive in 2027. Whether you believe that or not is a entirely different conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think where the spot the Royals are in is tricky because Cole Ragans is out for a year. Chris Bubich is not going to pitch for this team after this year because he is a free agent. Seth Lugo has a 5.5 ERA since he signed that extension. You have two guys you feel decent about in the middle of your rotation in Stephen Kolek and Noah Cameron. Those guys are not going to pitch game one of playoff series for you, I do not believe. I don't think there's more ceiling for them to reach. Valinder Avila, a lot of question marks. You don't really have anyone else in the farm system right now in Double-A or higher that you feel like can fill in for you, and we know Kansas City is not necessarily a free agent destination. Who's going to get innings for this team in 2027? And right now, I am less convinced that Michael Wacha is on the move than I was 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I think it is not just they don't want to trade him. I think there are circumstances that surround the team that may make that decision a lot less cut and dry than it looked like at the beginning of June. And as it sits right now, I'd say it's a coin flip whether they trade him or not, whereas I was 80-20 that he's probably going to get moved about a month ago.
So I said last one for you, but you mentioned something in there, and just a real quick thought on it. Bubich 60-day IL, which not that big of a deal because that means he can return on July 14th. Yeah, he can return on July 14th, and he probably wasn't going to return on July 14th anyway with the setback. If he continues to have these struggles the rest of the year, can it be turn out to be a positive that he's not going to get a massive contract or even maybe a multi-year deal with somebody, that maybe he goes 1 year, prove it, returns to the Royals, then tries to stay healthy and then enters free agency? Is there a chance that Bubich, with these struggles with his arm, returns to the Royals because he then becomes affordable, at least on a 1 year deal?
But then do you really want to run the risk of putting a lot of your chips into the middle of Chris Bubich being the 1 or 2 in your rotation when we have
I'm moving
really
him to the
good
bullpen.
half of the season? Yeah, but I don't know if he'll want to do that on a prove-it deal, right? Like if he's coming back on a prove-it deal, he's going to start. If it is he has zero market as a starter, well then okay, maybe I'll come back on a 1 or 2 year deal and pitch out of the bullpen and go from there. I don't see that being the case. And I don't know if I want to be in the Chris Bubich business, considering it's been essentially mired with injuries outside of 1 calendar year when he came back and was in the bullpen at the end of 24. He was an all-star at the beginning of 25, and then he got hurt 1 start into the second half, missed 2 starts into the second half, missed the rest of the year, and then was good for a 6-week stretch, and then he got hurt, multiple setbacks. Who knows if he pitches again this year? I just don't know if that's business I want to be in, considering the injuries and the volatility that this rotation has seen over the last year or so.
Yep. No, makes sense. We'll see what happens the rest of the way. Joel Penfield, One Royal Way podcast. Joel, appreciate the time. Enjoy the soccer today, the U.S. in action tonight, and we'll talk next Monday, bud.
Sounds good. USA is winning 2-0 tonight.
Yes, clean sheet, baby. Take that. There you go.
Brace just to be petty about it.
Wow, 2-0 based on both goals from Balogun. Ooh, boy, Joel, you are asking for more controversy across the world, across the globe. You know what you're doing? You are longing. You are longing. You're asking. All right, you are wanting chaos. Joel, you're rooting for chaos. That's what you're doing.
Obviously. Why not? Root for the chaos at this point. Embrace it.
Embrace the chaos. Joel, you're the man. Appreciate it, brother.
Sounds good, guys. Talk to you next
There you
week.
go. There's Joel Penfield, One Royal Way podcast. Thank you, Michael. Is that
That's got to be a hotkey at some point.
the official sound of chaos for the United States men's national
Sound
team?
of freedom. Sound of victory.
We shall see. The FIFA has denied the request of Belgium's appeal for Balogun availability tonight. So Belgium appealed for him to be eligible, and FIFA denied said appeal.
At a certain point, just play the match.
Yeah. And again, I said it in the first hour. I'd be fine if Balogun didn't play. If Pochettino and Balogun came together and said, you know what, this has been more of a distraction for our team. We're good enough to go out there and win. And this run through the World Cup shouldn't be viewed as tainted or cheating or not given the full credit to the entire team because Balogun went out there and played, because I think they're better than Belgium anyway. In my long-standing history of studying soccer and understanding how good both sides are and really the matchups and how they match up and everything and the different tactical advantages, all that studying in my years bring me to say that the U.S. side is better than Belgium, even without Balogun. They are much better with Balogun, but I think they can still win without Balogun. And it would be even more satisfying if he did not play. The worst possible outcome, Michael, Balogun plays and the U.S. loses.
I could see that being the case, but at the same time, I think the worst possible outcome is they lose in general.
Just
like whether he's out there or not, I think that would be the worst.
But if they're going to lose regardless, so it's what both ways. If they lose with Balogun, it's like, see, you cheated, and now the soccer gods have spoken, or you didn't play him and you lost, and it's like, well, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to win the World Cup? Or are you trying to send a message about fair play and sport?
I think it would be way more excusable if he plays and they lose than if he doesn't play and they lose, because then there's that what if.
Yeah.
And that what if for the U.S. is not really a risk that they have historically been able to take.
That's true. Is the U.S. in a position to where they can go, we'll sit one of our best players against Belgium because we're good enough to beat them without, because we don't want there to be this national controversy around this and have any of it viewed as tainted, or this entire run through the World Cup is viewed as cheating by the U.S.?
I don't think that anybody on that team would view it as tainted. I think there might be some fan bases. You might see Belgium come out after they lose and maybe have like a response or a rebuttal, but who cares what the loser has to say? It'll
be the Eagles complaining about the turf in the Super Bowl down in Arizona. About if it wasn't for the turf, we would have won. It would have been the Eagles coming out and complaining about a holding penalty. That was a holding penalty that they called in the game, that they called the penalty, but people were pissed off that they shouldn't have called it a penalty because they may not have called that a penalty at different points in the game, but they didn't throw a flag on those things, but they threw a flag there acknowledging that it is a flag, that it was holding, even the defender acknowledging that it was holding, but you lost, so therefore you need something to complain about with that. It'd be the same thing with Belgium complaining if Balogun played and they lost. Even if Balogun does not score, it would be, well, the advantage they gained by Balogun being on the field and having the attention from the Belgian defenders paying attention to him and how good he is, which then allowed more space for Tillman or Pulisic or whoever to go and score, which was the deciding goal in the game.
Do you think Belgium fighting against this ruling so hard is pretty much just showing that they think the U.S. is a threat? You would not be fighting this hard against one of the players not playing if you thought you were just better than the team. There would not be that. There's no way he can play. It's against the rules. He had a red card in the last game. There is fear, whether it's subconscious or not, in the minds of Team Belgium because they are fighting so hard.
I would wonder if, and this guy's been around the club for a while, fine player, but I know that he catches the ire sometimes of U.S. men's national team fans. Would Belgium be fighting as hard if FIFA reversed the ruling for Tim Ream to play as, defenseman for the U.S.? That a lot of people look at and go, well, he's old and he's slow and he's become an issue for this team because he's 38 years old. And if you've got like an attacking player, then you don't want him to be the defender back there. Would Belgium be like, sure, whoop, okay, Tim Ream's going to play? Okay. No, we're so mad about that. We're not going to appeal, but just know we're upset because this really affects the fair play and what real sport is supposed to be about, and this is a precedent that I'm so upset and mad about that, as opposed to Balogun where it's, no, this guy's a legit player and is a striker that the U.S. hasn't had in a long time, maybe ever, to the talent and the level that he plays at. No, this is a true difference maker on the field that the U.S. hasn't typically had. We're pissed about it. Tim Raine, no, darn it. We're so mad, but we're not going to appeal because, just know that we're upset about him playing. Okay.
It's all about the quality of player.
Yes.
That makes the difference.
100%. Like, oh, no, they're going to have a younger, maybe better center back if Reem does. Oh, no. Darn it. He's got to play?
That guy should play. It's God-given right to play in this game.
You know what? FIFA made the right decision. That was not a red on that particular player. They made the right decision. He should be out there. I feel like he's full 90-minute fit. I think even if it goes to extra time, he should play every single second of that match. That's what he deserves as the Belgian national team's representative. Reem should play every single second. But not Balogun. I think that would be it would be interesting. But FIFA's president has released a statement and said, y'all are crazy. This was independent. This had nothing to do with political influence. We had already started the process of appeals before Trump ever called. I talked to many, many heads of state. I am a very important person.
Which I believe that.
Oh, I do
I
too.
wholeheartedly believe that.
Well, I do too, and that's my point that I made in the first hour, and people were like, well, this is because of Trump. And I'm like, I get it, the lightning rod and the way that the country is viewed across the world, but the news came out that he was cleared to play, and people were losing their minds already. Then reporting started rolling in about Trump contacting FIFA, and then it was like, oh, well, yeah, I get that people would be annoyed at the political influence, but they were already pissed off and calling BS on FIFA changing their way even before we knew of the reporting of phone calls that were taking place.
And FIFA is so corrupt as an organization. I don't think that one politician is influencing their decision to do what's right. That's not going to happen.
But that's the thing is, is FIFA doing what's right? Were they influenced to do what's right? Or is it truly an independent body that had no influence whatsoever, and whatever their ruling was their ruling, and Trump calling the FIFA president had nothing to do with what took place with Flo Balogun? No idea. All we have to go off of is speculation and fans that are completely independent and unbiased in their opinion on whether Balogun should be able to play. The U.S. side and every other country that watches soccer, everybody has a pure of heart, unbiased opinion on what really should be taking place.
Final question, then we'll go to break.
Final answer. Is that your final question?
If Balogun and the United States men's team was playing this game in Canada, do you think he plays?
Do you think do I think he would be cleared to play?
Does the venue change the outcome of the reversal?
If the World Cup was in Qatar or South Africa, or if it was in 4 years in Portugal, Spain, and Morocco, and the ruling came down in this way, it would be viewed better for the U.S. men's national team because it wouldn't be viewed as home cooking that, okay, they're the host country. They're the only host country remaining. Since Canada and Mexico lost in back-to-back days, this would be 3 days in a row of the host countries losing. If the U.S. loses tonight, you would go from all three host countries in the World Cup, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all three of them in succession losing. I don't think it would be viewed as much. It couldn't be viewed as home cooking if it was 4 years from now in Spain, Portugal, Morocco. The allegations of home cooking and it being on U.S. soil is the reason he's allowed to play, is because it is on U.S. soil. If it was in Canada or Mexico, I think it would still be viewed as they're a host country. No matter if they're playing in Mexico or Canada, they're a host country, and therefore they had this ruling in their favor because
so it was a lose-lose regardless of where they were going to play that game.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think the only way you can't argue home cooking is if it was 4 years ago or in 4 years. Anything but being. But also, I don't know if they would have made that same ruling, because I think there is certainly a possibility. Everybody should acknowledge it because of how corrupt FIFA is. There's absolutely a possibility that the appeals process is allowing him to play because it is in the United States. There's absolutely that's part of the discussion and could be a possibility there, which goes into the corruption of FIFA. And I think most people feel like they are as pure as the driven snow when it comes to organizations. Nothing corrupt about them whatsoever. They always make decisions that are in the best interest of sport overall, and they award host countries to people that simply earned it on the merits. It's a meritocracy when it comes to FIFA. Everybody knows this. Warzone next.
You're in the zone on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Well, you know what? You can play the world's biggest soccer tournament as it's heating up in the U.S. on Kalshi. You can trade every match from the opening stage all the way to the final. And let's hope the U.S. continues to the final. You know, the matchup coming up later on this week will be of the winners of the two matches today. Portugal, Spain, getting underway an hour and 15 minutes from now. The U.S. taking on Belgium tonight, 7 o'clock. Massive, massive match. And you can play it all, you can trade it all on Kalshi. And the market right now for the U.S. is 53%. So roughly 50-50. If the U.S. comes out and scores an early goal, that thing is going to fly up to 80 or 90%. And you can then, if you are trading on the market and you're investing a little bit in the U.S. advancing, or maybe you want to put some money on Balogun to score. Maybe you've got that Balogun comes through with a goal. That's trading at 40% right now. Pulisic trading at 32% to score. So Balogun gets in there and scores. That 40% obviously goes up to 60%. That $100 that you might put on that turns out to be $240. Maybe you just put $10 on it. Okay, great. Now it's $24, and you've more than doubled your money on Kalshi. But the great part about that is you're trading against peers in a live market. There's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For example, on Saturday, watching Canada and Morocco, I had Canada early on. They were trading at 20% to advance. Put some money on Canada, hoping that it would be an early lead or Canada would be playing on the front foot early on. Morocco may take it for granted and not think that they're a side that's going to beat them after their big, match earlier in the round of 32. And so I put a little money on Canada, trading at 20%. They are attacking. They're on the side of Morocco. They're on the front foot. Morocco's, playing defense a lot. That thing jumped up to 40% for Canada. Doubled the money. I sold at that point. Traded out. Then I took that money, and what would have been 80% for Morocco is now 60% for Morocco because I thought Morocco was the better side. They were going to win. So I ended up getting both sides of that on Kalshi. It's just simply reading to see how the match is going, and you can trade in and out of your position. You can do that with sports. Wanted to be able to do that with sports for a long time, and I can do that with Kalshi. And for a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code Jason810 to get $10 when you trade 10. It's Jason810, Kalshi, Kalshi, Kalshi Trade, the beautiful game.
18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
Mick Schaefer will join us coming up at 1 o'clock. We continue rolling along on this Monday edition of the show. You know, we were talking about the location of the World Cup playing an influence on whether or not Balogun is cleared to play, or whether or not Balogun would be cleared to play. Here's Alejandro Moreno, who is a soccer analyst for ESPN, yesterday on ESPN Radio. Alejandro Moreno weighs in on the reversal, and his opinion is that it's because of it being the U.S.
Do you think it would have happened had it been a Belgian player? Had it been Kevin De Bruyne, one of their key players, if he had gone through the same thing, would that red card have been reversed? And the answer to me is unequivocally no. Historically, this has not happened. And so it looks like preferential treatment. It looks like the United States are benefiting from it because they're the host country, because they're the United States. And that's not the image that you want from this World Cup. The United States, on their own, as a team, on the field, they've proven to be a very competitive team. And it seems like they're getting help from somewhere else, and it's not the look that you would want for this team. It's not the look that this team deserves.
So there you go. There's one man's opinion on whether or not it's because it's the U.S., and even if it's not because of the U.S., that's the look. That's what it appears to be. That's what people are going to be saying in the conspiracy theories.
Do you care about the optics?
See, that's where...
I don't know if we're in a position to care about the optics.
That's a good point, because it's different with the Chiefs and like the U.S. men's national team. So that's where Sterling and I have found us to be in one of our most opposite ends in disagreement is... I have gotten better over the years in not responding to people that are being purposefully obtuse or are projecting or trying to discount or tear down said dynasty with the Chiefs. That it is hard for me to ignore preposterous allegations against the Chiefs and the NFL going out of their way to create a dynasty so that the city of Kansas City will be what the NFL has this conspiracy for. Sterling just ignores it and goes about his day. I don't have that. It bothers me when I see something that is so factually wrong and easily disputable, but it cuts at the validity of something that I care about in the Chiefs.
I wonder if it's like not saying it's a generational thing, but there are so many people that, I mean, there's a running joke, like everybody gets a microphone nowadays. Everybody gets a platform, a way to share their viewpoint on something. And that doesn't mean it's right. The loudest voice is not always the right voice. And when I see the stuff over Twitter, and especially during the Chiefs dynasty, where you would see just some of the most brain-dead comments or accusations, you laugh at them, but there simply isn't enough time in the day to dispute all of it.
Right, and that's where my issue comes in. And it happens with people that are lying about what their own eyes are seeing. For example, the Houston Texans divisional round game with Patrick Mahomes, when he was scrambling to his right, cut back inside, and then slid. And they called the unsportsmanlike helmet-to-helmet contact. And people... because Troy Aikman said, well, he's not even making contact there. They slowed it down, and Troy Aikman then didn't point out that the guy lowered his head and actually hit Mahomes' helmet with the crown of his own helmet. But Troy Aikman didn't acknowledge that. And so you'll show the replay to people, and they will just ignore that and go, it doesn't, like Mahomes, he slid late, and it wasn't even contacted. They'll show another replay that doesn't have him making contact because or a still shot. And they'll ignore what their eyes say because it's better for them just to go, no, that doesn't matter. I'm just going to say that it's only because it's the Chiefs, even though specifically in the rule book, you cannot do that. And those are the things that are difficult for me to ignore in that, no, it's the actual rules. Or saying that the NFL goes out of its way to protect Patrick Mahomes when he flops, and then the video they show is against the Texans when he ran out of bounds and flopped, and they didn't throw a flag. Like, it's so absurd that that's what you use as evidence, yet it kills your argument because he didn't actually get a flag on that, you jackass.
It's like a Venn diagram. And yes, Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback, and he fits in the Venn diagram, but
Yes.
so does Josh Allen, Joe Burrow.
Even more.
All the NFL protects quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback, so he therefore gets protected.
But not more
but not
protected than Josh Allen.
preferentially.
Yeah, not more protected than Josh Allen and some of the others that we see, the roughing the passer per drop back or per quarterback hit, that Josh Allen is as protected as it gets out there and has minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minute long reels of flopping that Josh Allen has. But the national narrative is, and I love Taylor Twellman. We had him on last year, the year before in Tahoe, and he was awesome. But he has his annoyances at flopping and said, it's just like any other sport. People see LeBron flopping, they get annoyed. Patrick Mahomes flops, and I'm like, God, no, it's just that's what they want to go with because he's the most famous quarterback in the league. So you just go, well, he's a flopper too. But it's Josh Allen. If you actually watch the games, it's Josh Allen. And I love watching Josh Allen. I love watching LeBron. LeBron flops. I love LeBron. He flops. I'm willing to talk about the flaws in people's games. It's not nobody's perfect, despite what Jordan Stans will tell you. But Josh Allen, I love watching Josh Allen play. He's a flopper.
And I just hope that the commentary around the game tonight or the match tonight is not all about Balogun. I'm sure a lot of it will be because it is the hot pressing issue. But just like that clip said, it shouldn't take away from how well America has played as a team. And win or lose, it's going to be a story.
I mean, I can like the result and know that it does set a precedent that hasn't happened in the World Cup before, and it sort of opened the floodgates to these particular things. I can acknowledge that, and that, it does seem like they went outside of what has been their typical way of enforcing the red cards in the specific World Cup tournament, not the qualifying matches leading up to the World Cup tournament, which I do find to be an appropriate distinction between Ronaldo and Balogun. But it does not change the fact that Ronaldo was then allowed to play in those World Cup group stage matches because his red card didn't happen in the World Cup. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. All right, man, if you're out there and you happen to be suffering from erectile dysfunction, then do not wait around to see what is going on. Heartland Men's Health can help you. Maybe you've tried the pills or the herbals. Well, if they are not working anymore or they have failed, again, Heartland Men's Health can help. They have treatments with success rates well over 90% and have treatments that work when the pills or the herbals fail. Waiting around to see if it's something that will fix itself is probably not going to do the trick because it can be caused by many different underlying conditions, which is why you don't want to go with the one-size-fits-all. Okay, this is most men. This is what they suffer from. You don't want to go that route. Heartland Men's Health is here for you, successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. Simply schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. Your initial visit, it's only $99. That includes the medical consult with a licensed medical provider, a T and PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if the test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit, it's free. If it does, there you go. You're on your way to figuring out what's going on. An expert staff with 3 locations to serve you. Overland Park, Independence between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Todd Lebo here.
Twitter thinks he's funny.
Shame on you nerds.
His wife and kids think he's lame.
No!
We couldn't get Paul, so we're stuck with Mick.
Yep. Okay, still got it going on.
Mick Schaefer on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
Monday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. An hour from now, Portugal will take on Spain. The winner of that one will take on the winner of the United States and Belgium, which is tonight at 7 o'clock. A little program coming up when we are done here an hour from now with Jack Johnson filling in for Soren as he is on his way to Tahoe. Soren will be broadcasting from the American Century Championship this week.
Did I see no Patrick or Travis this year? I think Rob Riggle was maybe the only one we saw of local.
Yeah, there
presence.
was. Yeah, I don't know if Jason's going to make it. I think Jason is still on the list of people that will be there. But Travis did something this weekend or something that was going on. I'm not sure. I didn't really pay attention. But apparently he's not available this week. There's like a moon with his honey or something like that. I'm not sure.
Sorry, got him wrapped around her finger, huh?
Yep. So
yeah,
you were
little ball and chain.
I know, right? No, now you can't. How about that? See what happens? You get married. Now you can't play golf
now
anymore.
Can't play golf.
Yep. Nice job, Travis. You played golf. How many American Century Championships in a row did he go to?
A lot of them.
And then he marries Taylor, and he misses one.
Mm-hmm.
Golf, done.
Yeah.
Boy, what that ain't a great example.
Next thing you know, like a year from now, he'll be done playing football.
You can't even play football with your friends anymore.
Nope. I don't want you doing that.
Yeah. You get married one time. You get one more year of playing football with your friends. But after that, it's time to be around your family here. Okay, it's your family. I'm sick and tired of you traveling every other week to go with your friends to play football. All right, this stupid sport. Okay, you need to be home with your family more
home
often.
with me in London and Tokyo
Yes.
and South Africa.
Yeah, and watch
every week.
me sing and stuff. So you were out of town this past week. How was the wedding?
For me, it was great. I had to keep telling my wife and my sisters-in-law that that's not a real picture. That's AI. Stop believing everything on Facebook. In fact, don't believe anything at this point. You're cut off. We would grab their phones. She would turn for a second opinion to my son or my brother-in-law and be like, no, it's AI. He's like, you're 10 feet away. He goes, I can tell from that far away.
Did you see Andy Reid winning a Hawaiian shirt and shorts
By the
and
way,
flip-flops?
the
I
wedding
cannot
started
believe
like
that.
an hour ago. How are they going to have pictures out already?
That's right.
Stop.
Maybe this
Adam
is somebody.
Sandler looks like he weighs 175 pounds in that.
That's right. People are not releasing pictures of Adam Sandler officiating the wedding. They're signing NDAs. Do you think they're going to put out pictures of what's going on Twitter and Facebook?
I disputed a lot of those facts early on that they were getting married at Madison Square Garden. I'm like, you have all the money in the world and you're going to that dump? And then also Adam Sandler officiating that wedding still just slays me. I can't believe that happened.
Unreal. But I think, did they get married somewhere else and then the reception was at Madison Square Garden?
Yes.
So the reception was probably a lot more packed than maybe the ceremony, or maybe there were two sets of invites.
Who's who of
Is there two
athletes
sets of
in,
invites? An invite to the actual ceremony, invite to the party after? Because there were a lot of, like, Dean Blandino of Fox was there. And it's like,
Joe Buck was.
How random is that? Like, I'm like, out of all the random people that you see, I'm like, how is Dean Blandino? Does he have that good of a relationship with Kelsey that he's invited to the wedding? I mean,
he's not even there. He's in his own little booth somewhere.
Were there 10,000 people invited to this wedding, and you just needed to fill out the seats? Like, did he win a raffle? Like,
I didn't know Dean Blandino
was Dean Blandino there. And I like how everybody that had to sign an NDA, but you would take a picture of, like, your tuxedo or your suit or you and your wife getting ready to go.
Yes.
Like, oh, where are you guys going? Oh, can't tell you. Signed an NDA, but we're hanging out here in New York tonight randomly as a famous person, heading to Madison Square Garden, where you got people taking pictures as they're landing in New York. Hello, New York. Chris Oladokin taking a picture of his tuxedo. I'm like, good for you, Oladokin. Let him know.
Brad G taking pictures in New York. I'm like, come on, Brad. What kind of life have you fallen into?
Oh, my goodness, man. Did he have a +1? Was he allowed to have a +1?
I would hope so.
I would hope so, too.
He's always there. He's having to, drop anything he has to do on like a Sunday to go with Patrick to the current game or something like that.
That's true. Yeah, that is
deserves it.
That is true.
I did the funniest part was I don't know, some variety or somebody said Amy Schumer appears to be the only A-lister not invited to Taylor Swift's wedding. And everyone's like, Amy Schumer on an A-list? And then somebody wrote, the only A-list Amy Schumer's going to be on is alphabetical.
Alphabetical order, yes. Alphabetical. How would they listen? And there's probably a lot of
just putting everybody on these
there's
A-lists.
probably some A-lists that weren't invited.
I'm
I don't
guessing
know.
so. Yes.
Was Leo there? Like, was Leonardo
He was at
DiCaprio
the
there?
soccer game yesterday. I know.
No, I mean,
I don't think so. Yeah.
Was he there?
It was all the New York acting crew. That's who she hangs with.
That's true.
Right? All those cats and kittens and Miles Teller,
Cool cats and kittens.
Ryan Reynolds and that whole gang.
Yeah, McElhaney, maybe. I don't know.
A lot of Bradley
that are-
Cooper was there, although they are both from Philly, I believe.
That's right. Yeah, McElhaney and Miles Teller and
Ryan Reynolds.
and yep, they're all Philly boys. Well, not Ryan Reynolds.
Reynolds is Canadian.
McElhaney
Is Philly.
Is Philly. Miles Teller is Philly, and Bradley Cooper.
Oh,
is
I
Philly.
didn't know Miles Teller was.
Yeah, he's an Eagles fan. He's a Philly guy. I wanted to talk to him last year in Tahoe because I wanted to ask him the oddity of being in a Super Bowl suite when the Chiefs beat the 49ers and rooting for the Chiefs with his group of friends that were there with Taylor, and then the next year being in a suite rooting for the Eagles against the Chiefs while a separate suite had Taylor Swift and all of her friends. That it was like the oddity of those two things. He couldn't talk last summer. Hopefully he gets a chance to talk to Seren, because then he can ask him what happened at the wedding.
Yes.
Yeah, you're allowed to talk about this, right? So what took place?
I did hear they spent 20
Did Adam Sandler
minutes?
go, shabba-dee-doo-ta, you may kiss the bride, do make you, oh, shabba-doo-beep-doo.
I would you do if I was good at impressions. I've got a lot of them dialed up. You just do them.
You may now kiss the bride. Does a ring man have a ring? I just want it to be the whole thing.
The whole time, just baby talk.
They're doing that.
I built $1 billion empire on baby talk.
That's right. Original vows are better. No, the scripted vows are better. Original vows tell how you really feel. The scripted vows are ones that can get to the bottom of it. I take original vows. God, who has Adam Sandler officiate their wedding?
I have no idea.
I could not believe that was a real thing. I thought it was false. I thought
I
it was,
did
I
too.
thought it
I'm
was
like,
fake.
it's
I thought it was
another AI. I think it's BS.
Yep, I thought it was like
it's like a movie. Would you?
Isaiah Pacheco donated his entire rookie salary to the homeless because he, cares about people and he's working for minimum wage for the Chiefs. Like, wow, what a great guy on Facebook.
Do
And
they
it's
have
not
any
real.
friends who aren't famous? They just only hang out with famous people.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting.
You probably just wouldn't know the people
because
that
they're not
weren't
famous. Because they're not famous. I'm not sure. When they went to the Cavs game, there was a girl sitting next to Taylor. And it wasn't random, like, oh my God, I have this seat and Taylor's right there, because I think they had like 6 seats on the front row and the 4 seats behind them.
I bet she's a famous recording artist.
It's got to be something. Yeah, she's famous for something besides just being Taylor's friend that's going to a Cavs game with them, I'm sure. Well, you know what? Kelsey's stunt double is not famous. I mean, he played for the Chiefs for a little bit, the tight end that everybody thinks is Kelsey when he walks out, like in his athleisure. That one when they said that Kelsey gets off the plane in Australia. No, it's he was on the practice squad for a little bit, and he and Kelsey became like quick best of buds, and that's been like his
And you don't
best
remember his
friend.
name?
I don't know his name. People would know his name, but he was a tight end for the Chiefs for like I think 35 seconds.
Okay.
But it ended with the Chiefs when Kelsey, back before he matured to being Kelsey. So it was early on Kelsey career, and they became best of buds, and he looks like Travis Kelsey. And so everywhere he goes, it's like, oh my God, that's Kelsey. I'm like, no, it's not. Remember the Australian clip when he was there? The person got off the plane and like, Travis Kelsey and his athleisure.
And that was him?
That was the other guy.
Because they were just buddies going to Australia together.
He goes everywhere with Kelsey. He's at a lot of the Taylor Swift concerts and stuff. He's there partying with Kelsey. So I don't remember his name, but I was wondering if he would be the best man, or would it be Jason? Kelsey? Would it be Jason?
It worked out, right? They both only have one sibling.
Yeah.
And it was Austin Swift. Is that his name?
Sure.
Again, he's done some acting. He's an actor.
How about that?
Yeah.
Probably on his own merits, right?
Sure.
I would think so.
Yes.
He's probably a decent actor, right? He's had to act like his, sister isn't famous his whole life, and like he's had to act
I feel like he could be
people...
a lot more famous if he pulled that card. To where like, hey, sis,
It's true.
Can you
That's
give
true.
me like the fifth lead in this action adventure Michael Bay movie? Yes, let me make a phone call.
Yeah, the only reason Ben Stiller is even acting at all is because of his dad. I mean, nobody would have ever hired him if it wasn't for his, dad.
all.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. The guy's just all his dad shtick.
Maybe the highlight of vacation was watching Tropic Thunder. My kids
Nice.
have not seen it.
They hadn't seen it?
No.
So for the first time?
My son called it one of the top 5 comedies he's ever seen.
Yes. Thank you. We're watching that this week with my son. He's 10. Very excited.
Mine's
and my
twice
daughter,
that age. So
my
yeah.
daughter, 7. I just want them to experience cinema, right?
Yes,
Great cinema. And real they don't come out with comedies anymore. Comedies don't hit the screen anymore for some reason.
Tom Cruise won an Oscar for that or something like that?
He should have, man.
Yeah,
that
great.
performance was absolutely amazing, and apparently it was all Tom Cruise's idea.
We looked it up. It was like an 82 on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that.
Dude, like some of the stories behind it, Tom Cruise, as he said, if he was going to be a part of it, or as if I want to be a part of it, this is how I want to play the character.
Yeah.
This is how the character needs to be played, and they're like, okay.
You could have
Sure.
said anything.
Yes, Tom Cruise is going to be a part of it. Yes, play the character.
You could have
And
said,
like,
I'm doing a handstand the entire time, doing a Russian accent.
Brilliant. That character. It is awesome. Are you up in arms about Balogun playing tonight? Are
Listen,
you so
I
pissed
left
off about
13 days ago for 2 straight vacations, and Balogun was eligible. I came back. He's still eligible.
Right.
To me, nothing's happened.
That's a good point. That's
To
a
me,
great
nothing's
point.
happened.
Yeah, if you're on vacation, sports that take place are out of sight, out of mind, and they didn't actually happen.
I left. The Royals were bad. I came back. Nothing's happened.
You left. Mahomes was still rehabbing the knee. You came back, still rehabbing the knee.
I guess so. Yes.
Although
I left, Travis Kelce was single man. Oh,
that's where I was going to.
Dang it!
Dang it! There you go,
man. I don't. It is. I just I'm not fully invested in it. Like it's not a Chiefs thing. It's my country. I'm cheering for them. I like the
You got
outcome.
red, white, and blue on.
I have red, white, and blue on today for the big match.
I'm wearing my Beasler shirt.
My not so hot take is that I feel like the U.S. was unfairly punished for a horrible call. They had 30 minutes of no Balogun against Bosnia. I felt like if you're talking justice, they got the short end of the stick. Now, I would be pretty pissed if I'm Belgium. All right, I mean this is bad calls happen all the time. Bad decisions happen all the time.
Yeah.
You have to live with it. That's how it works in American sports, and then you just complain about it till the day you die.
Right.
And
about how we were screwed.
And that didn't happen this time. And so I would be very upset if I was Belgium. I absolutely get it. And then when it happened, from Daniel Sperry to the national guys to former players, everybody was just scoffing. There's no path for him to be back eligible for this game. It's a horrible rule, by the way. It's in the same ballpark as the college football targeting rule. Just horrible.
Well, that's
way
what
too penal.
That's what I
rule.
said. That's what I said. Just suspend him for the first half.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in college football,
Or
he missed the second half of that
like
match.
the college football rule, 90% of the calls exist in this massive gray area.
Yeah.
To where I can't legislate intent there. I mean, especially in this thing, especially when you see the wide angle in that the Bosnian player was playing through him. He was playing from the back.
Yeah, people are like, well, when you're going and making a challenge like that, like, no, the ball was
ball's
passed
coming
to him. The
Yes.
Bosnian player was the one
And
making
your
the
foot
challenge.
has to land somewhere. This
Yeah.
is like when Chris Jones tackles somebody and lands on top of them, and they're like, is he supposed to defy gravity and just
Yes, right.
disappear or roll over midair in a split second and they make that call? So what a horrible call! And apparently they broke the rules in doing the VAR slow mo, which that's odd to me. You can't
slow it down.
But if they did that, then I'm good with that. But I get that there's been really no precedent of this in the history of the World Cup.
I didn't bring this up earlier. I wrote it down. I meant to bring it up with Sterling, but I did not. But I'll bring it up now. The comparison that I think I would make that might come close to it, to where American sports and people would be up in arms, would be in the college football playoff, in the semifinals, there's targeting in the second half, and we're like, we don't really think that was targeting. That was kind of BS. It was a soft targeting. And then they appealed, and the player didn't have to miss the first half of the championship game, was allowed to play. And we're like, hold on,
Same
that's
bad
never
rule.
happened.
Yes.
But at that point, I'd be like, good, because it shouldn't have been a targeting to begin with. So that guy shouldn't have to miss the first half.
Unless it's a team Mizzou's playing in that playoff.
Depends on who the team is. in the championship.
They're going to be pretty good.
And by the way, if Mizzou is in the championship game of the college football playoff, I'll be like, I don't care if it's Nick Bolton. Let him play. Let everybody on that other team play. I don't care. I'll take it right
you would
now.
sign that. But
I'll sign up for Alabama's best linebacker /
Yes.
safety playing in the championship game when he was supposed to miss the first half because the penalty was rescinded, that it was a soft targeting. That's the only thing I could because we've never seen targeting then rescinded to where, hey, you don't actually have to miss the first half of this next game. You can play. And then if it happened in the college football playoff, it'd be like, oh my God, like that seems to be, especially if it happened to the SEC. It would be, oh, there you go, the SEC. It's home cooking for the SEC. That's what happens there.
There is. This could have been. Listen, this could have been the most by the book, toe in the line, obeying the rules decision that anybody's ever made, but it's FIFA and Trump involved.
And the U.S.
And the U.S. There's no way anybody, including Americans, are going to believe that it was that. So,
well, it's like FIFA's
including
corrupt.
MAGA voters are like, yeah, no.
We know that's corrupt.
Yeah.
We understand it's corrupt. FIFA, it's corrupt.
We were talking about when Casey was trying to get the bid, you and I were like, yes, pay them under the table, whatever. If they're corrupt, play the game. We want the matches here.
Yes, do what you do what you got to do,
we have to
regardless
still be on
of
that
what
side.
Denver sportscasters think. Just pay the money, do whatever you got to do to get Kansas City.
As somebody who does that for a living, it was so bad.
It was really bad.
It was, and by the way, like he acted like he just stumbled upon and broke this news that Denver didn't go after it. Yeah, we've known.
Yeah. And stumbled upon it, was like, well, it's the same city that turned down the U.S. Olympic bid.
I mean, I can't imagine doing a package on air and saying, "Oh, Mile High's a dump." Just
the way that he said Arrowhead was a dump,
right? Now I'd say it on the radio, but
yes, you're editorializing on the radio.
TV has class. Yes.
That's exactly right. That's what I was going to say,
and all that.
Yes,
but there's no sound bites in it. It's just like his opinion. I'm like, do you do this on a regular basis?
It's just his commentary.
Yes.
It's a package on his commentary about how Denver is so much better than Kansas City as a sports city and a hosting and event city.
I wish we had an NBA and a hockey team like them that they ignore.
That's right. I can't make a joke and say they wish they had a baseball team, but damn it.
Are we tied with them right now?
They're a half game better than the Royals. It's the Angels, Royals, then Rockies.
Yeah.
Rockies are they have one more win. Same amount of losses, but Rockies have one more win.
They have more people watching those losses.
That's true too. Yes. That's a lot of losses that continue to happen for that particular team. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll get into Learn Funniest Best. What we learned from the weekend, funniest from the weekend, best from the weekend. That comes up next. All right, time for a little learn, funniest and best right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Michael Darcy, Mick Schaefer hanging out with us on this Monday edition presented by Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk. Time to get into a little learn, funniest, best from the weekend. What we learned from the weekend, funniest from the weekend, best from the weekend. What I learned from the weekend is, so the shirt that Pochettino is wearing for all these matches.
You mean Russell Crowe?
Yes, the
Argentinian Russell Crowe.
That Argentinian Russell Crowe is wearing for all these matches. It's the same shirt that he's wearing because he's now superstitious, and this shirt, it's now sold out everywhere.
Oh, I bet
you cannot buy it.
What's the brand? Do we know?
It is. I know it's $500 to buy that shirt.
Of course it is.
Pochettino shirt brand.
And he just does the one button. Is that right?
I mean, yeah, you can't have all the. It's Boss, formerly Hugo Boss.
Yeah. Boss bought out Hugo.
Yep, that's that's right. Yeah, it's $499 for this shirt, sold out within days.
Like they're giving them away.
The plain blue Boss shirt that looks like he's going fishing.
I know, right?
Has been sold
the
out.
flap in the back.
So great because people are like, oh, let me go and check this out. Oh, it's sold out. Yeah, okay, there you go. So yeah, he's going fishing, and that's been great. But yeah, he's made that thing so popular that it's sold out, man. I was trying to see like what it's exactly called, like what's the name of the shirt, but I can't find it. Just
I think soccer head coaches should be like baseball managers and have to wear the uniform.
Yes, I agree. Just like college basketball coaches and NBA coaches, like Bill Self should have to wear the full-on KU uniform when he coaches on the sideline.
He could wear warm-up if he wants to. Doesn't have to be tank.
No. You can wear an undershirt. Like some guys wear the shirt underneath the tank jersey.
Bring back the suits.
You know,
be an adult.
No.
Has there ever been a baseball manager that's worn regular clothes?
I don't think so.
Is it just because the game was born out of like managers or also players?
Maybe.
It's just a very odd thing that we
totally
accept.
Odd. I want to see like Andy Reid in full Chiefs uniform and pads.
Yeah.
And helmet.
100%.
Yeah, and a misspelled name on the back. That's what I want to see him in that one. GH Field. Yeah. So I think would you go like jumpsuit on the sideline if you were U.S. men's national team? Would you go fishing shirt like Pochettino, full suit like the Mexican coach? 100-degree weather and he's there fully suited out.
I would wear something that I would work out in. Something nice. If I had that money, it'd be sweet. It'd be nice.
But it would still be athleisure.
Athleisure.
Yeah.
Because you're sweating out there. You're walking up and down the sidelines for a couple hours there. So I would not do definitely full suit.
Yeah.
I think it'd be something sporty but stylish.
What would you wear, Michael?
I'd probably wear something similar to that. Truthfully, I might wear a suit. I know that sounds crazy, but dress for the event.
Okay.
I mean, on an event that level, I think a suit is okay. I understand not wearing a suit if you're Bill Self for a Big 12 conference game in the middle of the week, but if you're coaching in a Final Four or national championship, put a suit on.
Okay. All right. I get it. Although I think Dennis Gates can wear whatever he wants if he's in a national championship game.
100%. Yeah,
I would. I'd be perfectly fine with
Speedo
that.
and
yes. That's sold out within days of the first appearance with the U.S. men's national team 4-1 victory over Paraguay. But now they're doing all these stories on it. What'd you learn from the weekend, Mick?
I heard I learned the Poch knows the words to Country Roads, and I really appreciate that.
That is right.
Like he would hug somebody and pick it back up, hug somebody else, and pick the verse back up. Really appreciate that. I'm always curious as to like which parts of our culture, including like music and movies and stuff, that other countries know. Now, it is kind of silly that I'm like applauding the American head coach for knowing an American song, but that's how it works with soccer.
But that is odd, though. Like Matt Beasler was talking about this morning and said that he's always found it odd that national team coaches so often are from different countries.
Yeah.
that they aren't
We have
actually
German
from that
coach forever.
country.
Yeah, why shouldn't it be?
Yeah, German
and
coach.
the players.
And that's right. The players.
I get that, okay, you're going to have some guys born on military bases, some guys that will move. But it seems like those people that move country to country, a large percentage of them play soccer.
Yes.
And so it's almost like it's they're tabbed early on in life. Like, you know what? You look great in red, white, and blue.
Yeah, it is interesting what Malik Tillman was born on a military base in Germany and then lived his life in the U.S., whereas Balogun was born
in the U.S.
because they couldn't get on a flight because she was too pregnant, and then lived his entire life in England.
In England.
He spent 5 minutes in the U.S.
Who's Robinson?
Anthony Robinson.
Anthony. Same deal. London, born and raised there, and then came over to the States like middle school age, something like that. But still has the English accent.
I know, it's great, and it is funny those representing the Stars and Stripes with the English accent.
Yes.
Although this reminded me of a shirt I saw over the weekend that said,
I don't
England blew a 13-colony lead."
They did, yeah, that's a good one. I don't know. Do we really have to have country free agency? I don't think we do. I think it should be
for the U.S. I think so. I like
we
it.
do to be better.
It for the U.S. Yeah, I definitely.
But
like
even
it
then,
for
I
the
think the U.S. could get away with it because of what the country symbolizes. You couldn't have that in. I guess you could have it in England, but it makes more sense.
But see,
why
everybody
there
was leaving England.
are
You know what I mean? They were
different
getting away from.
I would say formative years, 0 to 18. Whatever country you spent the most time in,
that's what you
That's
represent.
who you can play for. And I get it. World Baseball Classic, we would have 4 teams in it. Basically, there would be no Italian baseball team.
That's right. Kenny and Cags playing for Team Italy.
Yes, there would be no. I get it.
Great.
But and for that you can do it. But for a big event like this and the Olympics and everything, 0 to 18, where'd you spend your most time? That's the only team you can play for.
I don't know. I like Balogun being able to play for the U.S. Although, of course, that's why the English fans are so pissed. Is because he's not playing for England, being that
Yes,
good.
the Nigerian American English footballer can still play for the U.S. after a red card.
Yes. It's like,
how many hurdles did we have to cross
you know what?
there?
Was Great Britain pissed off that Jazz Chisholm was playing for them in Great Britain? So
They were not.
They weren't. They were perfectly fine with that. So not a big deal. What did you learn from the weekend, Michael?
I think I learned how wide of a guest list went to that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce wedding. Like, just looking
Very
at some of the
eclectic.
different people that went. George Stephanopoulos was on there.
Wow.
Joe Hayden was on there. Dean Blandino's obviously
That's so
the
good.
craziest
Yes.
wild card. But I also think I put 2 and 2 together. For whatever reason, I thought that just because the venue was MSG, that there probably wasn't going to be 10,000 people there. There legitimately might have been 5 to 10,000.
Do we know
people.
the number of people there?
I don't know.
I think they're guesstimating around
Did they
1,000.
actually sit people in the stands? Was it that many people?
I have no
Because
idea.
I just
Assigned
imagine
seating.
it all on the whole floor seating.
And the actual basketball court was still out there,
Yes.
so
Mike
you could go
Vrabel
and
and
play.
his wife went. I don't know if
Oh, did they?
Rossini went, but that would be a little
Interesting.
awkward.
Well, she wouldn't be able to report on it. She signed an NDA,
It's true.
so that would have been awkward if she was there.
She might have gotten the invite.
It was a mix-up. She was actually his plus one. Vrabel and his wife were invited separately. Yeah, that was interesting to see over the weekend, all the different ones. Funniest from the weekend, Mick.
Funniest for me was, okay, so we're in Indianapolis. My daughter at a national volleyball tournament, and so we're there, and a lot of parents were hanging out and everything. And there's a parent on our team who was from Bosnia, lived there till he's 17, came over after it was war-torn, and built his family here. It's a great story. And I was talking with him leading up to him, like, we were talking about, like, it could be USA Bosnia. He's a huge soccer fan. He's like, this would be crazy, my 2 teams playing in the World Cup, yada, yada. And so I told my other buddy, I'm like, hey, I think it's USA Bosnia in a few days. And he's like, no, it's not set yet. It's them or another team. I'm like, okay. And so the next day, I was like, no, saw for sure on a bracket, it's USA Bosnia. He goes, no, there's 1 or 2 teams left. And I'm like, I don't fully understand things, and I've not been paying attention to any other sport besides youth volleyball. So he might be right. And so then the day before the match, it came up on the screen, and we're drinking beers in the lobby. I'm like, look, they're playing Bosnia. He's like, or the other country. I'm like, buddy, that's the same country. You've been seeing the whole time. Herzegovina. He's like, oh, I kept wondering why. Sometimes they put a dash there. Sometimes they put and. Sometimes they put the slash.
Ampersand. You never know. Like it's
I
not.
thought I was taking crazy
It's
pills.
not or.
When you thought there was still one of two teams they could play.
That's so funny.
And I was like, okay, I get it. Maybe the third seeds, how they play out, it could still not be them. But I was pretty sure for 3 days. And
the day before, they should know who their opponent is.
Know where to go. We should be on a flight right now.
Or Herzegovina. You never know who they're going to play, who's going to show up. So was your friend from Bosnia or was he from Herzegovina?
It was not the Bosnia friend. It was a friend from Shawnee.
Yes. But was your friend from Bosnia or was he from Herzegovina?
He was from Bosnia.
Okay.
Yes.
Specifically. There you go. Funniest for you from the weekend, Michael?
There was a tweet yesterday. Belgium is lawyered up to fight back against FIFA's decision to reinstate Balogun. And then Barstool SEC quote tweeted it saying, our lawyers got Trinidad Chambliss in 11th year of eligibility. Y'all waffle folks don't stand a chance.
I saw a lot of that where FIFA is now allowing Brendan Sorsby to play for Team USA on Monday night. A lot of those things going on yesterday's tweets. The funniest for me from the weekend was a tweet, and it goes back to us sort of joking about Adam Sandler. And the tweet is from Clue Haywood that says, Sandler to Taylor Swift, may you continue to support one another. May your love and connection grow exponentially over the years. Swift crying, thank you. Sandler to Travis Kelce, shabadoo, tally hoo 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 dee hoo. Kelce dying laughing, isn't he the best? That's exactly how I imagine their wedding is Taylor Swift. Thank you so much. Shabadoo. I just Travis Kelce. And Kelsey going, Taylor, isn't he the best? The best from the weekend, Michael.
There was a news piece done on a German soccer fan named Sebastian, who originally was very scared to come to the United States because he heard about the criminals and the people being mean. And there was an instance where he was in Boston and Sebastian broke down in tears in this news piece because there was a local guy in Boston named Bob who gave him a ride home after he was stuck at a game with no way back to his hotel. And as he's breaking down crying, he said that he had extended his trip to stay in the United States because of the random act of kindness by Bob in Boston.
That's
so
awesome.
Just seeing the different countries and just seeing the people that have come and have fallen in love with it and have extended their trips, and kind of surprised to see that out of Boston, truthfully, but it is
Boston
great.
Bob,
that
he's from Southie.
Boston Bob, yeah, he's a Southie guy. We look out for our own. You know what I mean? If I told you we got to go somewhere, we might have to hurt somebody. Who's driving? What time we leaving?
Sebastian's one of us now.
That's right. That is part of the disappointment of yesterday and all of this, controversy around Balogun is because the World Cup has been so much fun and cool to see all of those stories about people coming over to the United States and finally seeing that there's free refills and
ranch dressing.
They give you ranch dressing, and the TSA opened up an entire suitcase full of ranch dressing and had to confiscate it. Then there's the chips and salsa with the Japanese guy at the Mexican restaurant that said, no, we didn't order this.
We do not deserve this.
We do not. We haven't earned our place for you to trust us that we can pay for this. And then the English guy that went to Texas Roadhouse and was like, they give you these rolls. And we told him, no, we didn't order this. And they're like, no, they come free. And the peanuts, they just sit it down in front of you. You just get to eat peanuts. They even let us take bags with us when we left. Those are great. Those are the great stories, not the Balogun stuff. My best from the weekend is that, so there was a story where the weekend when the Cardinals were playing the Giants in New York, there was a gal that was getting married, and she had always wanted to stay at a certain hotel.
This is baseball or football?
This was
Cardinals
football.
Star.
Sorry. Yeah, good call. Yeah. Good call. Yeah, Arizona Cardinals at New York Giants in the fall. So this girl's dream was to get married in New York, but to stay at this specific hotel with the presidential suite at the top of this hotel, right? And she went to book the room, and the whole floor was rented out, including the presidential suite, because the Cardinals were playing the Giants that weekend, and the Cardinals were playing on that floor. And so she put like a TikTok out there of like, well, this is disappointing, but we're going to find somewhere else to go. And word got around, and it ended up getting the Cardinals, and Bidwell, the owner of the Cardinals, said, Well, actually, that is not one of the players' rooms. That's actually my room that weekend. And now it's your room that weekend. And don't worry about it. It's taken care of. You're good to go. It's your room. Hopefully your marriage is amazing. And he's going to decide to stay at another presidential suite.
I was going to say, slumming it.
Hotel. That's there. But I thought that was cool because it eventually got to him, and he was like, well, go ahead. Yeah, you can stay there. I don't give a bleep that that's your dream was to stay there with your
he was like, you've bid well for this room.
There you go. You can have it. The highest bidder. Best from the weekend for you, Mick Schaefer.
I saw Vince Vaughn just a couple times.
That's nice. A couple times.
Yeah.
Just walking around or...
I was in Indianapolis. There's courts for like national volleyball. There are like literally 150 of them all through the convention center and Lucas Oil Stadium, which are connected. And so it's hard to run into them. One person ran into them. They're like, oh, court 48 went over there and said hi. Did not say hi. That trumped the other celebrity sighting that I've seen this year, youth volleyball, which was in Utah. Jamie from the Progressive commercials. Apparently he's a big volleyball dad.
That's cool.
There you go. Those two. That's it.
Those are. I thought maybe you were going to say Corey Anderson in Utah.
I did see him. He was third.
Vince Vaughn does. Yes.
Vince Vaughn, Jamie, Corey Anderson.
He does stand over Corey a lot. Yes. He does rise above.
If Corey had to work anymore and was on the radio, I might put him up at number 2, but he doesn't have to.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's true. Top 3. He's got the bronze. He'll always be able. Now his national anthem won't be playing, but he'll still take home a little medal. That's good for him. All right, we'll take a timeout. Come back. Wrap up the show next.